Before I call this meeting to order tonight, I want to acknowledge the fact that our last meeting was very, very disruptive and cut short because certain counselors got into a confrontation. And it was very, very unfortunate that any counselor has to be intimidated, has to be threatened with the chief of police and other police officers having to come out after the meeting was adjourned. It is unfortunate, unfortunate for the county.
We're not going to do this again. It's 7:07.
Okay.
We're not going to do this again.
Start
the meeting.
Meeting we've ever had, so please.
Okay,
But wait.
as long as I'm sitting in
We
this
need to
chair.
start the meeting. No.
Counselor, you're out of order like you were last week.
You have not started the meeting.
You are out of order.
We're here to conduct the business of the borough.
And guess what?
And let's get
Guess what?
started.
And guess what?
Let's get started.
It'll get started when I call the meeting.
No, it's not when you want to call the
Well,
meeting.
well,
The meeting is scheduled for 7:00 p.m.
Do not waste the time of the people you serve.
That's right.
I'm in charge of this meeting, and I'll call it.
Solicitor,
After I.
what time is the meeting supposed to start? 7. It was advertised, it was legally advertised for 7 p.m.
Yes, it was.
It's 7:08.
Counselor,
We're here to conduct the business of the borough.
and the business.
We're here to conduct the business of the borough.
Is to keep.
We're here to conduct the business of the borough.
And the business of
It is
this
very
borough
unfortunate
is for
that
you
you continue to be a disgrace to this body.
Disruptive.
It's a shame.
Disruptive, ma'am. You're the shame, and you're the shame. And you're the shame. You are the shame, ma'am. You're the shame. You're the shame. You are the shame.
Babies by Mary, man. Don't go there.
Let me tell you
You're
something.
trash. And you've been trash.
And you are.
You have been trash for years.
Counselor,
Don't sit up here
counselor,
and preach like you're
counselor,
a perfect person.
counselor.
Lady, you better start this meeting.
I will start the meeting when I see fit,
We're here to
ma'am.
do the business.
Well, let's see how we're gonna do it.
Mr. Boggs, what can we do legally to ensure that this meeting gets started ASAP? We are now at 7:09 p.m.
Let's officially, you can talk and say, let's officially.
You're not gonna sit up here and try to be my character. That was your reputation. You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
Mr. Boggs, Mr. Boggs,
Mr. Boggs, you better get control of the situation.
I think that the meeting should start.
legally, the meeting should start at 7:00
What
p.m.
did you do legally last week, ma'am?
Legally,
What did you do
the meeting
last
should
week?
start at
What did you do
7:00
last
p.m.
week? What did you do last week, ma'am? You
Exactly.
disrespected the chair. You started a presentation that I knew nothing about. So yes. And how long do you want to sit here? I'm waiting on to hear from another counselor that's scheduled here tonight.
No, we can't.
She's gonna let Carlette Brooks vote on the phone, but she wouldn't let the mayor vote.
You know what?
Last meeting.
We're here on time to conduct the business of the borough. We have important motions to be placed on this floor for a vote. Most importantly, motions involving hiring police officers.
Get to
And this is what the chair is doing.
You wanna be safe?
This is what she's doing. This is what she's doing. No one wants to be bothered with the nonsense.
Telling you.
Ma'am, you do the nonsense every meeting.
God.
You do the nonsense every meeting.
Lord have mercy.
Now, if the
I'm
quorum
in the
is
chair.
broken,
I'm in the
well,
chair.
yet again, that means nothing will get voted on tonight. Is that what she's
You
trying
gonna
to
walk
do?
out tonight,
Is that
ma'am?
what she's
Are
trying
you gonna
to
walk
do?
out tonight?
That's what she's trying
So you're
to
gonna
do.
walk out
That's why
tonight?
she will not start the meeting on time because she wants to instigate, agitate, to have us walk out because of the nonsense.
You walk out
But
every
you know what?
meeting.
We're gonna
You
stay
walk-
here until we find these police
That's
officers
right.
in.
That's
Find
That's
out.
what we're gonna do.
Well, you'll find out. You'll find out. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How long we gotta wait?
Vice Chair, Vice President Loren Johnson, can you start the meeting for the people, please?
Not when the president is present,
No, she refuses to start the meeting. That means she refuses to perform her duties. No. Solicitor Boggs, if the chair refuses to do her duty and start the meeting,
Right, that's right. Yes.
then the vice chair can step up. Vice chair can step up.
You gonna wait for the vice chair to do something? Are you kidding me?
That's right.
I'll go call Carlette, start the meeting. Is that a compromise? Okay.
Do we have to wait for her?
No, start the meeting. I'm only
If
making
Carlette
starting
knew it
meeting.
was a meeting, why isn't she here?
Why are we holding a meeting for one council?
That's right, that's ridiculous.
It's a courtesy, it's a courtesy. It's a courtesy.
Well, you wait there until
It's a courtesy.
wait there until it started.
You didn't give the mayor the same.
Sure did, sure
We gotta start the meeting
did.
first, though.
What happened in May?
Waiting.
We gotta start the meeting.
This is what she's doing to the people.
I'm telling you.
She's holding this community hostage.
Several shootings, several burglaries, but she gonna sit up here and waste your time and our time, which is nonsense.
We ain't walking out, so you might as well start. We need full-time police officers.
That's right.
So do what you were put in that seat to do. Or vote her out.
But the solicitor said that if the chair refuses to perform her duties, the vice chair can step up and open a
Do your
meeting.
job. Do your job, Loren. You've been wanting to do it for a long time. Now you got the chance.
Are you calling Carlette too?
It looks like they were walking out again. That's what she's reporting to whoever.
No, this is
Oh,
ridiculous.
God. We just said we're not walking out. We're voting for police. We're not walking out. We're voting for police.
Vote her out. And don't put Loren in the seat. She don't
No,
even
This is illegal. This is illegal. This is illegal.
Started this.
According to law, she's breaking it. She was supposed to start at 7 o'clock p.m. You refuse to step up and perform your duty as the vice. You refuse. We never had to wait for councilors to come. We never had to. These meetings are advertised for a reason. These meetings are advertised for a reason. It's about the legalities. You just don't start the meeting when you want. They have to be advertised for the people to come out.
Too busy trying to make a daggone speech. Like, get out of here. Nobody care about what you think. Oh, let me show you over there. The things that I put that's all. And she got the nerve.
This time, she died.
We'll start after Carlette gets here. So we'll have the meeting for a half hour.
Pretend to be a referee.
Exactly, yeah.
That courtesy.
Wasting the taxpayers' time.
Wasting the taxpayers' time. That's right.
Wasting everybody's time.
That's right.
Waiting for one daggone person. The meeting starts at 7. If you late, you late. You just get in when you can. We don't hold up meetings for one person. When have we ever held up a meeting for one person?
Never.
And you know darn well she won't hold up for none of us. She's a treasure.
No, it's not right. They all need to go, all four of them.
All four of them, yes. All four of them.
We're waiting for Carlette.
Sit up here on 10 like you worried about somebody's darn safety. Somebody you don't even like or respect. Y'all a bunch of phony baloners. All of them.
Disrespected the president.
You only like each other as long as you can push an agenda.
We do have a quorum.
Yeah, exactly. No reason to hold this meeting up when we have quorum.
She want to play Bobby Brown or something prerogative.
Business should have began 16 minutes ago.
This is illegal.
It is.
This is illegal.
Well, when you're a power-made tyrant, you know, you think everyone.
Well, you don't have nothing else going for yourself. It's the only thing you can hold on to, like a vice president, I
Was
guess.
it taken care of in June?
No. Or May. Didn't want to do that.
Daggone shit.
February.
I'm so glad that this ain't the
Two
whole
bucks
thing.
and
I
we're
can
going down
everybody
walls.
on, because that's a shame.
So we got here at 7, but we had to sit here and wait.
Yeah. Well, once again, they display their quality. Oh, I mean the lack of.
Unreal.
It's a disrespect to the residents to get here.
Almost 20 minutes after.
Because she doesn't have the forum that she
Correct.
wants.
Yep. Yep, that's tyranny, plain and simple. You're looking right at it in the white code.
Totally disrespectful.
Yep.
People
So
sit
you
here.
have a chair that refused to do her due diligence and her duty, and you have a vice chair that
Yeah,
refused
the
as
two
well.
leaders of this body refuse to fulfill the requirements of their office.
They need to go.
Yep. Recall election.
So she doesn't.
So she refused to start the meeting because she doesn't.
Why are you
have
so
the people that she
disrespectful?
wants. She
Why are you
doesn't
so
have the people that she
disrespectful?
wants, so
Why
she
are you
refuses to start
so
the meeting
disrespectful?
Because she doesn't have the people that she wants.
Why are you so disrespectful?
Because you don't deserve respect.
Why do I have to tolerate it? Every 18 months.
She don't have
You're
to talk.
disrespectful.
You're disrespectful, and you've been disrespectful ever since I've known you. Ever since I've known you, you're disrespectful. So what is that? So what is that?
It says resign.
That's a bad neighbor. That's what you are. A bad neighbor.
You can't read that.
No, I can't. I don't have my glasses on, ma'am.
Here, take mine.
I don't have my glasses on.
Can we get started?
Can we possibly,
President.
Madam President,
No.
Madam President,
I'm speaking to the
possibly start the meeting and
I want you to,
She's off that until it's not starting.
Borough of Yaden, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, Borough Council Special Meeting, July 6, 2023, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
The meeting is called to order. If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Madam President. Roll call for this evening. Mayor Rowan K. Hepkins, present. President Sharon Council Harris.
Present.
Vice President Narendra Johnson. Councilor Talia Jones Waters.
Present.
Councilor Carlette Brooks. Councilor Nicole B. Thank you, ma'am.
Nicole Beatty is present.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilor Toya Monroe.
Present.
Thank you. Councilor Leanna Rocloud.
Here.
Representative from Mr. Mark Munch's office, Mr. Boggs.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Our Finance Director, Mr. Nafis Nichols. Thank you. Our Tax Collector, Ms. Yolanda Hughes. A representative from Panoni, Megan Totoro.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam President, roll call has been called.
Thank you. I want to announce for the Citizens Forum, you have a limitation of 3 minutes, and it can be on agenda items only. So if you have an agenda, if you don't have an agenda, they're on the platform there. Please get your agenda because you will not be able to speak in general until the end of this meeting. You can raise general observations or questions or comments. But for the 3 minutes, Citizens Forum at the beginning of this meeting for agenda items only.
I'd like to make a motion to, amend the, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move up the hiring of police officers. Before, right after Citizens Forum.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded.
We just had 5 robberies in the shooting.
So I'd like to be able to get that out of the way.
Can we do, just like last time, can we do public comment first?
I said to right after Citizens Forum. I would like to, no, I am asking for this motion to be moved up to right after Citizens Forum, so we can make sure that we get it in.
I have no problem moving the police up to right after Citizens Forum, but can you make the motion after the?
I
people have
already
talked?
made the motion,
And it was second.
and it was second.
Just like the last week.
I've
my
already made the
official
motion,
Advice is
and it
to
was
do
seconded.
public comment before any business is done, but nobody listens.
I can't hear both of you. We understand what Mr. Biles has to say.
Or the vote. You do not respect the chair, you want to do anything you want to do, and it's not going to happen.
A motion is on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor.
And you will not recognize, the motion will not be recognized.
The
There's a
motion
motion
is
on the floor.
recognized.
There's a motion on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor.
Mr. Boggs.
And it's been
Mr. Boggs,
seconded.
Mr. Boggs, Mr. Boggs, as a secretary, I need a ruling from you. Do I record the motion? Do I wait for the motion? What is illegal?
My advice, based on the Sunshine Act, is that the people get to talk before we do any business.
And I ask that we amend the motion if the citizens are going to, I didn't ask you. So I'm asking because the citizens are commenting on the agenda. If the agenda items are going to be changed or rearranged, then we need, then that should come before the citizens have a right to speak.
That answer is no.
So
The motion is on the floor.
my motion is on the floor. It's pertaining to the
The
agenda.
motion is on the floor.
And the citizens are commenting on agenda items.
Will not be called.
So
It
until
will be called for a vote because the motion is on the floor. Why are you trying to stop the hiring of police? We had 3 burglaries last week.
You are out of
We had
order.
3
You
shootings
are
last
out
week.
of
And you
order.
got to
You
look
are
past
out
me.
of order.
Not
You
allow
are
the
out
motion
of order, and you stay out of order.
Ridiculous.
You are ridiculous, ma'am. So are you. So are you. You're the disgrace here. You're the disgrace here.
Mr. Boggs.
And nobody else want to speak up so that we can make sure that the vote for the police is foremost on this agenda. Nobody else feel it necessary.
No motion. The chair is not recognizing it. We will have the public speaking.
This is about
And it's not going to be.
modifying the agenda.
After the public speaks.
We're
and
modifying
after-
the agenda and
ma'am, you
the
are not
citizens are speaking on
recognized.
agenda
And you
items.
were the president of council.
We
And
are,
you do this every month. You do it every month. You do it every month. You
We're making
disgrace
comments on the
this
agenda.
building, and you disgrace this process.
we're commenting on
And
the
it's
agenda
stopping now,
items.
ma'am. It's stopping now.
Commenting on the agenda items. And if we're
I'm not
modifying the
amending the
agenda.
agenda, ma'am.
But it's not just
I'm not
you.
doing it.
It's the body.
Well, guess what?
It's the body.
Start taping everything.
Okay.
It's the whole body. You don't make the decision for the entire body.
There's 7
But you
councilors.
can't make the decision for the
Nobody
entire
else feel
body.
it necessary or important enough to ensure that we vote on the police hiring tonight. Nobody else feel it important.
You're not in charge, ma'am.
No one else
You're
feel
not
it
in
important
charge.
enough.
You are not in
She
charge.
does not want to hire the police.
That is
She
not-
doesn't want to
Why
hire.
are you-
Then why don't she
you
allow
lying?
that motion
Why are
to
you
be first and
lying?
foremost?
Madam
Why wouldn't
President.
she allow that
Madam
motion to be
President.
first and
You
foremost?
lying
Madam
to the
President,
people.
Madam
Yes.
President, the solicitor has ruled that the citizens forum is now. After the citizens forum, the motion is right on my page. It's been made and it's been seconded. If we can move forward with the citizens forum,
And then the motion.
So I have a question then. If we are rearranging the agenda, how are the citizens going to know what they're commenting on and
We're
why?
going to amend the agenda to remove Sharon as president. That's not even on the agenda.
I did it,
gonna
that
happen.
wasn't
That's
my,
gonna happen
that's why
after
I'm
citizens
making the
That must be
motion
what's
to
on your
amend
mind.
the
Right, that must be
agenda.
what's on your mind, and I agree. I would love to have that happen.
So what is on the agenda absolutely can be moved after citizens forum. If what is not on the agenda is going to be moved after citizens forum.
Now, is that at the president's discretion? At the president's
If the president wanted to do this before public comment, I would advise against it, but it would happen.
What difference does it make if it's before comment or after comment? We're
Because
only
the-
asking asking that the
Please, you
motion
wanna
be
disrupt
moved up.
things every
That's all
time.
we're asking.
You
It
just
doesn't
want to
matter.
And it's very
It doesn't
unlikely
matter.
that anybody's going to comment on it, but the Sunshine Act wants the first public comment to happen.
Okay,
before any
Bobs.
business happens.
Thanks, Bobs.
Mr. Trent, are you coming up, sir? You have item 4A and 2A.
So, Mr. Boggs, I do have one more question, Mr. Shannon, if you
Well,
wouldn't mind. Because there are other items that were requested to be added to this agenda that are not on this agenda. And if the citizens don't know that that they should be on the agenda, how can they comment on it at all? For instance, we had a lengthy discussion about YEAA and funds being added, and that we asked that be placed on the agenda. That should be on the agenda. It's not here.
Did 4 counselors contact Mr. Dotson to say that should be on the agenda?
So I know that 3 counselors contacted you and included Mr. Dotson. I am not aware if there was a 4th. So my question is that if we don't have any response to those emails, there's no way that we would know whether they belong on our agenda or not. 3 counselors sent a message, 4 counselors discussed it in executive session. You were there. So
I've
we
not
did,
been in an executive session with.
yeah, it was last month.
Just those 4?
It was last month. We were there and we had a conversation about it. And we talked about having it on the prior agenda. So it didn't make it to this agenda and there were 4 of us. So I don't understand how it is that we're allowing citizens to comment on the agenda when the agenda isn't complete. So I'm also asking for a motion to amend the agenda to include the $10,000 donation to YEAA.
My
So if you know about it, then are you the 4th?
remains,
Good question.
Right,
And we're making a motion.
I'm making a motion.
put it on the agenda, and we're just.
I made a motion to put it on the agenda so that if the public has some comment about it, they're able to make their comment.
That's why I have always really frowned upon adding anything to the agenda not 24 hours before. There are certain emergency situations where
Mr.
that can
Boggs, you
happen.
know, these meetings are canceled, rescheduled, canceled, rescheduled. I follow
Walked
up.
out upon and
we don't
walked
have
out
any-
and
It
walked out
has nothing
upon.
to do with it. If we're putting
You
a
walk
motion
out and we don't get to
on
do
the
the
floor, if we're
business
putting a
of the
motion
town.
on the
You
floor
walk
to
out.
amend,
You
we
walk
have the
out.
opportunity to now vote.
Choosing us.
We have
Walking out, ladies, keep walking out. Keep walking out. Keep walking out. And nothing gets done.
everything that you're going
Keep walking out.
This is why you can't.
Keep walking out, miss. You.
I'm gonna tell you why I came.
Oh, my.
I came to pay the fucking bills. Because we are here in Yaden, and you guys, I'm talking to y'all. Y'all accept this shit. The bills need to be paid in Yaden.
They have been.
The bills have not been paid. The bills need to be paid in Yaden. I'm here to pay the bills. I have problems. We are.
Please.
We all have problems, but I have a fucking situation that I will not tolerate what's going on here. We need to pay the bills. All that other shit that's going on, y'all can discuss it, y'all can argue, y'all can debate it, but we need to pay the bills here, Yankee. Y'all like what's going on, because if you didn't, you wouldn't come every week. Stop liking this shit. It's not right.
Wait a minute.
I said it's not right. I listened to you talk every time you came up to this mic. We need to pay the bill here in Yaden. The rest of that shit, y'all can have it. But we need to pay the bills. The bills need to be paid. Bottom line, the rest of that shit y'all doing, do it. But we need to pay the bills.
We we move on to the citizens forum?
I didn't look at these fucking videos.
Please, the foul language.
Paulette.
Foul language, and everybody here use foul language. I'm tired.
Okay, miss. All right, Counselor. I know you. I know.
No, you control yourself.
Madam Counselor.
I'm tired.
Madam Counselor.
Why can't we just pay the bill? The rest of this stuff can be discussed.
We got this.
It can be argued, but pay the bills. People need to be paid.
Mr. Trent,
So my motion was on the,
Mr. Trent.
Mr.
Please,
Vibes,
I'll start the clock, Mr. Trent, when you start.
Mr. Vibes.
Mr. Trent.
We're gonna start it. We're gonna pay him next. Mr. Trent. We're gonna pay the bill.
Mr. Trent.
I'm not talking over people.
Go ahead.
Stop.
She's not gonna be quiet if I start talking.
I'll start when you start, Mr. Trent. Thank you, Mr. Trent.
So my question is about adding
questions about
YE.
nothing. Your questions are about nothing. Mr. Trent, you have the floor.
So my question
You have the
wasn't
floor, sir.
answered about,
You have the floor.
my question wasn't answered about adding
We're
YEAA
not answering
donation.
your question. You have the floor,
Give it
sir.
to him, Mike.
So now we're.
Thank you, Mr. Trent. The clock.
Now it's a dictatorship.
Yeah, now it's a dictatorship.
And this is
Now it's a
specific to
dictatorship.
your questions, specific to your questions. And the other questions here are broad generalizations. They will be answered at the end of this meeting. Your question, sir.
Based on what you're saying, it's hard to have comments at the end of the meeting because I can't remember a meeting that ended with citizens having comments.
Thank you.
That's besides the point, Mr. Trent.
It is the point.
Answer your question,
As
sir.
far as the accounts payable, and this probably ties into this proposed settlement, hopefully these figures that have been paying all these lawyers, especially the EWAL, will stop, and therefore, based on what Councilman Rowe said, we should have a motion to give YEAA funding, because you're cutting off all this other excess payments to a lot of these other law firms. I know you care less. And that's one of the problems, like you act like you don't really pay attention to what people are mentioning. As far as the mayor's report, which is the consideration of hiring the 4 police officers and promoting another one, you've had the engineer's report early in the meeting because it wasn't scheduled, but you have moved things up. So it's not like there's something that can't be done. You have done it in.
Sir, it is
I'm
the
still
prerogative-
talking.
It is the prerogative of the chair.
You can't interrupt me
Yes,
now.
sir, but I want to correct
I'm
you.
still talking.
Because you're making
Can
suggestions.
you give me
that aren't-
consideration and
Yes,
let
sir.
me talk?
Yes, sir, I want to. I want to.
I mean,
But you're moving your conversation around and give another in your
What we
window.
gonna do, we gonna listen to the citizens forum. We gonna listen to it, whether he's right or wrong, we gonna listen. And then at the end, we're going to comment.
Thank you.
But right now, we need to listen. This stuff got to stop.
Tell her to
It
put a
has
zipper
to
on.
stop.
Unreal.
Put a zipper on.
Mr. Trent, I stopped the clock. I started the clock.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I mean, one of the things with having the mayor's report down so far is that this is one of the more critical issues that the borough has faced in the last 18 months. We've had 2 police officers retire and 2 that have transferred. And then based on the Valero report that you authorized, they even mentioned that we should have more police officers than what you even think we should have. So I think this is something that's very critical for the borough, especially in light of some of the crimes that have occurred over the last few weeks, that this is something that's highly important and highly critical to move that up so we can get that done immediately. I mean, you can have it after your accounts payable and new business or whatever, but you need to move that up further in the reports. And the other thing is, like I said, with Councilman Rowe, you have a lot of things that are increasing as far as more money in our coffers, because you shouldn't be paying lawyers as much anymore with this proposed settlement agreement with Restore. Therefore, we should have the money. And I mentioned at the previous meeting some of the excess money that you've spent over the last 18 months that, instead of allocating money for the YEAA. I know
Your
you.
comments, sir, are biased.
Why?
Why are you arguing
Why
with
am I biased
him?
now?
Stop. Just stop.
Council President. Council President.
Stop arguing with council.
Concerned about the safety of the borough. Are you concerned about safety? Are you concerned about public safety in Yates?
Stop.
Are you
Stop.
concerned?
Council President, if I
Why am I
may.
biased?
Mr. Trent, as far as we needing more police officers, you are 103% right. Okay, so what we need to do now, as a body of council, get together and vote on that. Okay, so I understand what you're saying, but Council President,
it's on the
Council
agenda.
President, the only thing I'm saying to you is that just listen.
Mr. Trent,
Okay, but it's
You have
going
4
here, so then
seconds.
you don't have
You
to
have
say
4
anything.
seconds
Because when
left.
you say things that cause conflict.
Mr.
So
Trent,
just,
Mr. Trent,
just
you have 4
listen.
seconds
Just
left.
listen. I'm not
Please.
on nobody's side. All I'm trying to do is what's right. We need more police officers. So we as a body, we hear this. Let's get together collectively and vote on that to get it done.
It's on here. It's on the
Stop
agenda.
fighting with
It's on
each
the,
other.
it's on the agenda.
We're ready.
You
We're
don't
ready.
have to say it. If
We're
it's
ready to
on here,
move forward.
And you don't have to say anything. You don't have to comment.
This is
Just
true.
listen to what the Citizens Forum is saying.
The gentleman.
Okay, go ahead,
The
Mr.
gentleman has 4
Mr. Trent.
more seconds. Thank you, Mr. Trent. Continue,
Please
please.
move the mayor's report up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda, the other residents wishing to speak. These that are on here now are broad generalizations, they're not specific.
No, you can't. No, they are allowed to speak. No, they are allowed to speak. They are allowed to speak. You cannot tell them that they are not allowed to speak.
Ma'am, you're not in charge of this meeting.
I am a resident and I will not be denied. You denied me last time. Don't you dare deny me.
No, ma'am.
It is a
No.
Sunshine Violation Act.
Well, everybody here is angry about nothing because we can talk, we can agree, we can disagree, but everybody here comes in this meeting with an attitude.
I do not.
You come in
I did
here.
not come here with
No,
an
you
attitude.
come in here for
No,
a
I did
fight.
not.
You come in here for a fight.
I saw the ring and I was holding the door for her.
What I'm asking you to do, what I'm asking you to do is please just listen to the Citizens Forum. Please just listen.
That is wrong.
Listen to me, listen to me.
I understand that if it's not on the agenda, it shouldn't be talked about. You know what, it's not right. It's not right. She wanna do what she wanna do, and this is why it's so much contention. This is why it's so much contention. That's why it's so much contention.
It wouldn't be this much contention if everybody felt like they had a voice and everybody was respected. And see, that's what she don't
Was out that
understand.
chair.
That's right.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. The matter is that it's not about her being out the chair. It's about control.
She don't have it.
It is about.
But she don't have it.
You're not going to give it to her. You're not going to give it to her.
It's no respect. And when
Well, give it to Loren. She's vice president. She next up in the chair. She next up in the chair.
I have always said, let everyone talk. I've always said, just let everyone talk.
She next in line. She wouldn't even do her duties when she wasn't going to do it. It is not my duty when the president is sitting there.
You need to be quiet. You need to be quiet. No, she cannot.
to make a decision.
You know what? I cannot take over the presidency. I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
Time to vote to pay the bills.
No, it's It's time to vote to pay the bills. I'm with it.
This is
Citizens Forum. It's time for Citizens Forum.
It's time for Citizens Forum.
It's time for Citizens Forum.
It's time for Citizens Forum.
They're not specific to the agenda.
Let the people speak.
The people will speak at the end.
I agree, but let the people speak.
But guess what? We never seen anything like this in my life. The bills have been paid.
The bills have been paid.
Right now.
Oh, but let's pay the bills.
Okay.
No.
On the bill, we can pay the bills.
Right, let's pay the bills.
You can't. It's a violation of the Sunshine Act to deny people citizens.
So moved.
It's the court. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do, but the bills need to be paid.
Second.
This is our community. We need to pay the bills.
I second.
We
The move that's properly second. It's been moved.
Lying to.
It's been moved.
have the bills been paid.
Yes.
Have the bills been paid?
Yeah.
I'm asking the question. Let's pay the bills.
At this point, everybody needs to pay attention. There's a motion on the floor.
There's no motion on the floor.
Citizen forum has to take place. Well, if it's out of order, then we can't do the citizens forum. Pay the bills.
Your mic.
I have always said, let people talk. If they start to talk about something that's not on the agenda, tell them to stop. But anyone that wants to go up there needs to go up there and talk.
These people have been here.
I agree with that. But I agree with that.
These people have been here since 7 p.m.
People need to be paid.
These people have been here before 7 o'clock, waiting to speak. They've been here before that. They've been waiting to speak. That's not fair.
We haven't done nothing in months. We haven't done anything in months.
They have been waiting to speak for months. The people have been waiting to speak for months.
There's one on here, I can't read the name, that is talking about the Planning Commission. That's not on the agenda. But if that person still wants to come up and talk about something on the agenda, not the Planning Commission, that should be fine.
Only one person, and somebody she gonna hold all of us hostage. She ought to be ashamed of herself. She ought to be ashamed.
I said public safety.
Yeah. She has something on the agenda.
Thank you, Isaac.
You had what? Public safety. Miss Anna. And specific to public safety.
Good evening, everyone. The main thing that I wanted to talk about tonight was public safety. One of the things that we know that all the boroughs are very concerned about is public safety, and our borough is no exception. If you watch and listen to what has been going on in our borough, there's a lot of things that we need to be concerned about. People are now no longer feeling safe at 8 o'clock at night. That's a problem. That's a major problem. There are people that are walking that are no longer feeling safe. That's not acceptable. And we can do something about this. We hired the Valori Group to tell us what was needed with regards to staffing, and that was telling us that we needed, I think it was like 28 full-time staff people, police officers. So we really need to take a look with regards to what we're doing. I believe that we finally did put the Civil Service Commission in, and we actually had the test. We now have some full-time police officers that we can hire. So we need to actually take the vote with regards to this, and a motion was made with regards to pulling this up further in the agenda, first in the agenda. And I see, Sharon, that you're shaking your head, and why? I mean, that's giving the impression to the public that you don't care about public safety. Now, I would have to think that you do care about public safety because you live here, but you're giving a different impression to the community. So we need to actually do something with regards to public safety. We need to do it now, and we can't put this vote off any longer, and it needs to pass. There are other boroughs that are actually hiring officers, and if we don't have this vote now, and if we don't offer these jobs to these officers that we have, we're going to lose them, and that is not acceptable. Everyone is concerned with regards to this borough, and public safety is one of the highest things that we need to be concerned about.
The other thing that we need to take a look at is our expenditures. Our expenditures are high. We're going to start looking with regards to the lawsuits. Hopefully we'll start settling some of them and we can cut some of those expenses. And that's basically the main things that I had to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So on the table, or as far as hiring officers, where are we at with that?
It's on the agenda, therefore.
It's on the agenda.
Miss Carlette, before you came, I asked that be moved up because it's number 10. It's not, but it's number 10 on the agenda, and it's number 12, and we asked that it be moved up. So before you arrived, there was a motion on the floor to move that up, and Sharon would not take the vote. It was.
But it's not about what she wants.
Yes, it is.
The motion
Yes,
on
it
the
is. It's
floor.
about
We're
following this
accepting
agenda.
elected individual counselors.
Okay,
And then your witness.
You are not the president, ma'am.
That's what she's now doing to her. It's the
so are y'all gonna recognize a community of the citizen? Are y'all gonna recognize the community?
Ms. Johnson has the
Or are y'all gonna still argue?
Order, please. Miss, thank you.
Good afternoon to all. I'm going down to where it says new business. It's on the agenda, and it says consideration to suspend workshops for the summer months for July and August. July is already gone. Last Monday was gone. The only thing you're going to suspend is August. July's workshop should have been last Monday. It's already gone, so there has to be a correction there. Where it says minutes, most of these, there's no minutes. I don't know where you guys get minutes from because the meetings were adjourned. Mr. Biles, correct me if I'm wrong. Even if the minutes have not been approved, should they not be on that table for the residents to take part in? Please, and I've asked you, Isaac, every time I come up here, I ask you the same thing. They're not there. This is the last time I want it there. Simple as that. Everything that's on this agenda should be on that table for the residents. Otherwise, we can't speak to what she wants us to speak to. Agenda items only. Now, and I do want to know if the ordinance for number 2023-1401, Longacre Boulevard in Parkview, has that study been completed yet? And if it has not been completed, why is that on the agenda as well? Now, Sharon, you said I can only speak to things that's on the agenda, and I know that it says mayor's report, so now I'm speaking to you, Mayor, if you don't mind. I know we have to hire full-time police officers, that I do want. I also, Mayor, want you, as the mayor, to put back on Saturdays when we used to have safety meetings before they took the floor. If Councilor Jones Waters want to attend, she's more than welcome. But in the last 12 to 14 months, we have not had a safety meeting. Mayor Hepkins, can you please ask for that to be done? Or just do it yourself. You are over safety. We're asking for that. Thank you. Recreation. Loren, can you please tell us who was the sponsors for Flag Day and how much money was spent on Flag Day? And since we have not had workshop meeting, some of these questions should be answered. I'm waiting, Lorraine.
Mr. Tanika.
I don't have all that information right now, but I will get it and get it back to you.
Good evening, everybody. We do like to come here because we like to deal with community issues that never get done since I first started coming about 2 years ago. And I'm still asking the same questions about public safety. And now since we had an opportunity to hire the police, and I'm pretty sure everybody out here is in agreement with that, the constituents of this community, not things identified when you try to strip us of our legal authority. And Mayor, welcome back. Welcome back to Now, since last month, the meeting was stopped and your vote was needed for the impeachment to get her out the seat. Could we take care of that today with your vote? Please. Miss Council President, I don't want to do anything for any of us. Could we go with that vote and clear that up this month so we can handle our business in this community? Thank you.
Tyler was supposed to help within 10 days, and they never called it.
No, we need to know if she's gone.
One down, three to go.
There's already a motion on the floor. There's already a motion on the floor. Mr. Boggs is shaking his head. There's a motion on the floor to move up the police. There's a motion on the floor to move up the police vote.
The question is, why does she wish Yaden to be unsafe? Why does she wish Yaden taxpayers to be unsafe? There you shall find the answer to many other questions.
She was making a speech about the counselors not being safe, but not the people getting robbed and
People
getting
climbing
shot.
into people's windows at night.
People actually that's really being unsafe, she don't care about that. She thinks that other people up here is unsafe. Phony or something.
The motion is being recognized to amend the agenda, to move the hiring of police officers up on this agenda. It's been moved and properly
May I
seconded.
ask who moved it, please?
Ms. Monroe put the motion on the floor. Ms. Roadcloud seconded.
Thank you very much.
Are there any questions?
Yes, please place it after you pay the bills.
That's a different motion. That's a different motion.
Let me explain.
Let's take care of this with the police officers being hired. Let's take care of this. And then we put the bills. The bills need to be paid. They haven't been paid.
Ms. Carlette, our bills are prepaid. Ask Mr. Nichols, our bills are prepaid.
So let's put the motion.
The bills are prepaid.
Officers, because I am 200% with that. We need that.
Okay, the discussion with regards to moving this agenda, bringing this agenda item up, my concern for moving this agenda item up is to allow these counselors who have a habit of walking out where we don't have a quorum. I got you.
There's a motion on the floor.
Madam President, it doesn't matter.
There's a motion on the floor. Point of order. Point of order.
It doesn't matter at this point.
That's my question. Are there any other questions? Are there any other question regarding moving the agenda, the hired of police officers up on this agenda? Are there any other questions or comments about that? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, all in favor, which indicate by a voice vote. Mr. Dodson,
Yes, ma'am.
would you call the vote?
President Council Harris,
No.
Vice President Ren Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Jones.
For moving it up.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. We need order. You are not allowed to scream out. Counselors are not allowed to address you, and counselors are not allowed to address each other without addressing the council president first. So if you don't mind, it is already 7:55.
We're in the middle of a vote.
If we can get through this, I would really, all of you, would really appreciate it. So I'm at Councilor Waters.
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Councilor Monroe.
Yes.
And Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
No, it's
No, excuse me. Let me correct myself. Thank you for pointing it out to me. It is not unanimous.
It will be
It's
moved up after.
6-1.
And this is
In
about
fa-
the order?
It's an order of putting the police hiring after the account.
No, that's not, that was not,
No, it's not.
No.
that was not the motion. That was not the motion.
I would put a motion on the floor.
So the motion just
has.
passed to move it up.
Yes.
It's up, it's now.
We are
So
at
we're
item-
asking for, so I'd like to entertain the motion to
Okay.
consider the hiring of Justin O'Donnell, Danielle Pettyjohn, Dalton Menasian, and Jessica Beaton as full-time officers for the Yaden Police Department contingent upon the successful completion of a background investigation, medical, physical, psychological exam, and polygraph.
And the promotion of,
That's a separate motion. Second, I second the motion.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Can we take a vote on the police officer?
Call for the
For the
vote.
police
You don't
officer.
call for the vote.
Yeah, you
If there are questions, you can't call for the vote.
The motion to hire the police officers was moved and seconded.
Now let the president of council do what
Lorenz
she does.
seconded. Okay, let's take a
Let the
vote.
chair do what she does.
questions.
Before questions, may I ask, before questions, who made the motion? please?
I made the
Councilor Monroe,
motion.
and I second.
I made the motion.
What?
Councilor Johnson
Thank you.
seconded.
Thank you, ma'am. And Ms.
And
Monroe,
further
second by
questions?
Johnson.
Vice President Johnson. Thank you once again.
Okay, the questions. What is the total financial contribution as far as the police budget is concerned, how much more dollars is that going to be, Mr. Finance Director?
It's budgeted, there's no more dollars added to the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Nick. Can you tell us, can you tell us the total amount for the 4 officers?
I would have to do a lot of math really quickly, Madam President.
We're not going to get anything done.
Yeah.
It's in the budget.
So I
Point of order, it's important information, that's it.
So I believe that the answer to that question would be no, not at this time. You can't tell us that on the spot right at this time.
And it's budgeted.
And it's budgeted.
But it is in the budget.
It is in a budget.
A roundabout figure,
Earlier to me in your office, could you give the total?
well, that wasn't about, that's not what you're asking me now is not what we discussed in my office. What we discussed in my office is about overtime in the police department.
And someone now police on the spot.
Why is this so difficult?
It's revenue neutral.
The total budget for the police department, out of the $7 million budget that we have to run the entire town,
Our
I'm
budget,
gonna ask for a point of order. I'm asking for a point of
our budget
order.
is 8.3 million.
That information, that does not pertain to this vote, so I'm asking for
Madam
a point of
President,
order.
you're out of
Madam
order.
President, the director is.
our budget is actually 8.3 million, not 7 million.
Call for the vote.
All right.
It's always been 8.3.
Now, can you please give an approximation for the 4 police officers
Four
that we're
officers,
getting ready
4
to hire?
compensated packages is probably $100,000 a officer.
Okay.
So that would be $400,000, $400,000, which is
Thank
in the
you.
budget.
It's in our budget.
Are there any other questions?
No.
Yeah, I have comments.
Okay, Mayor, the mayor has, the mayor.
Then I have a question.
Order, please. Order, please. The mayor has a comment.
Yeah, can you ask
Thank
the
you.
question before my comment?
Councilor Jones Waters has the floor.
Hey, Chief, how are you? So just a quick question. Are these candidates recommended by you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Then
you.
we had the resumes, Council. We have all the, for you.
And she's personnel.
They went through the
Yeah.
civil
Yeah,
service
and I
process.
am, and I am.
See, this is what happens, with going back and forth. Don't go back and forth,
All right.
don't even talk to
So what were you saying?
I have
What were you saying?
if there are no more questions, I have a couple of comments before we
If
go.
you're not being mean to each other.
Are you finished saying?
Madam Councilor Jones Waters, we have in public, we have all the resumes on our list. They're for your perusal and any counselor sitting at the table.
So have they also, they also went through the civil service process and took an exam, right?
Yes, Counselor.
Okay.
We are calling for the vote.
No, I still have comments. Okay. Being the mayor, I'm over this process, and I could tell you that, huh?
I said, it'd be fair, that's what I
Fair-
said.
fair to
Don't
who?
do me like that, I said, ask you to be fair, that's all.
I always try to be
Now,
fair.
don't go back and forth, I
Yeah.
just asked you to be fair.
It is fair. And
And this is how we
We're
don't
listening,
argue
Mayor.
with each other.
We're listening,
Be fair.
Mayor.
Okay, Council.
Yeah, okay, Council. Yeah, we agree on that. Okay, let's go. I've always tried to be fair. That's why I get criticized by both sides. I try to be fair as much as I can. The process was fair. We had a civil service commission that was revamped. And I want to give credit and kudos to the Civil Service Commission. I see one of the commissioners is here, Carl Graham. But thank you. Two, I'm sorry, that's right, Michael Trent. And they did yeoman's work in getting the testing together. We started off, I believe, like 9 or 10, it went down to 6, then 5, 4, and we have 2 females. Officer Danielle Pettyjohn's an African-American female. She was a part-timer. She would be included and go from the part-time ranks to the full-time ranks. We have another female, a white female, Jessica Beaton. She's number 1 on the list, I believe, for Ridley. Keep in mind that all these officers are on other lists. They're on several other lists. So the more we delay, they're going to be grabbed up by other municipalities. So it behooves us to get ahead of the game. We're actually ahead of the hiring process of a couple of other boroughs. So if we don't hire them, we'll probably lose them like we have other officers before. The process is fair. We do need more diversity on our staff, but it's a luck of the draw, or a wide net, and then whoever is qualified or most qualified is on the top of the list. We're fortunate that we're getting more diversity with two female officers, which we sorely need. We only have 1 female officer right now. So again, I've asked the chief. I've been involved in the process as far as asking the right questions, making sure the process is fair and that everything is up to par. And this is actually a great moment for Yaden because we've done something right. Let's not blow it. Let's applaud this. And I recommend, according to the recommendation of Police Chief, Civil Service Commission, that the process is fair, equitable, competent, and we'll be getting 4 good police officers if we could keep them. Because it's still not over. They could be offered other jobs, and they could be. Right now, there's a shortage of police officers around the country, and especially in our area. Many police departments are offering $5,000, even $10,000 sign-in bonuses to attract police officers. There's not enough of them. So let's not blow it. We're actually doing something right here. Kudos. Civil service, yeah, kudos. Give yourself a round of applause. So I recommend that we vote affirmatively to hire these officers. Thank you.
Councilor.
No other comment except that, as the finance director said, it's in the budget. We lost 2 to retirement in January, 2 resigned because they didn't like what was going on here. So we have 4 recent vacancies in the last 2 or 3 months. So it doesn't add to the budget, actually decreases the budget because we're replacing rookie officers where they have a tier, what shall I say, financial, to get up to full staff. It will take several years. So it actually decreases the budget because it saves us money because you're replacing veteran officers. One was a sergeant with many years. The other was a detective with many years. So you're actually saving a lot of money in the process. Part-timers, one of the officers, Daniel Pettyjohn, is a current part-timer. So we only have 2 part-timers right now, Daniel Pettyjohn and Officer Rowland, and he'll be the only remaining part-time officer. We'll get you over full-time yet, Rowland. All right? So everything's good. Let's not blow this. Let's do the right thing, all right? Thank you.
Call for the vote.
The vote, President Councilor Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. Vice President Johnson.
Yes.
Councilor Talia Jones-Waters.
Yes.
Councilor Roll Cloud, please.
Yes.
Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Monroe?
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
Thank you. It's unanimous. The motion.
Did something right. Did something right.
So, Mayor, will there be a swearing in?
B, 12B.
I'm sorry.
When will be this?
I said, will there be a swearing
Yes,
in?
there'll be a swearing in. Next public meeting, we'll arrange that. Yeah.
So additionally, I'd like to ask for the consideration of promoting Nicholas Tonkinis from patrol officer to the rank of sergeant of the Yaton Police Department, which is something that was also determined by a test.
The second part, 12.
So it was moved and seconded.
Are there any questions? Any questions with regard to the sergeant promotion?
So we moved
So moved.
to hiring the police, for full-time police officers. Can we move paying the bills up?
Oh, no, we have to vote on this.
There's another motion on the floor already.
When we moved 12 up, it had an A and a B. So once we're done the B.
We'll do that
We
next.
can pay the bills.
Yes.
All right.
I do have a comment if there's no other questions on this officer. Officer Tokenitz, again, being close to the police department is one of our, Yeah, is there any other questions? No. So that you know, he's one of the finest officers that we have on the force. This was by merit. There were two that took the test. He came in number one on the combined composite score. I could say this to the residents being involved in police work, and I don't know if anybody has a passion for it as I do and has a history of it as I do, but I could tell you that there's a couple of hallmarks to gauge how effective your policing is or how out of control your policing is. Just like you have financial indicators like the CPI, Consumer Price Index, the gross national product and gross domestic product. You put it together in the recession, the inflation, and economists could see how the economy and how the country's doing. Same thing with police. We could prove that our Yaton Police Department has been great. As far as we look at the violence, we look at police shootings and all that, and we've had some issues due to lack of staffing and the like. But I could tell you that policing, we have hardly had any lawsuits. If you manhandle people, you're going to have a lot of lawsuits. We haven't had many lawsuits in Yaton. It's been really, really low compared to other boroughs. We have not had a police shooting. A police has not shot their gun in 20 years. And I've talked to other police chiefs, and they said, that is unbelievable. Actually, that was brought to my attention by a sergeant that was here, David Splain, who's now the chief of police in Neva Providence, and he told me a lot of these things, how Yaton is way out in front of most other boroughs. We haven't shot, and then it goes back to Officer Tokenitz. There was an incident about 2 years ago where there was a man that stabbed somebody, was wielding a knife around town, and randomly you see how people are like out of control. And he was stabbed somebody, was wielding a knife, going after residents. Police got to the scene, Officer Tokenitz right away. He was wielding a knife and was lunging at him, and he didn't shoot him. I don't know if I would have had that restraint. He subdued the man that was out of control, that was stabbing people without firing his pistol. This is the man that we're promoting. And people say, it's got to be white, it's got to be black. Well, sometimes it's not the most important things. What is their temperament? What is their skill level? And this is Officer Tokenitz. He's a great officer.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor.
And see how you guys are listening
Because he has something to say.
Yes.
He has something to say. We all have something to
You
say,
cannot,
whether you like
you
it or not.
cannot address the audience.
I'm just saying.
Diamond?
Ma'am, please.
Ms.
We all
Diamond, you have a
something
question?
to say.
You cannot address the
Do it
audience.
respectfully.
Okay.
That's the only thing
We're
I'm
doing,
saying.
we're doing it. We've got,
The motion is on the floor.
we have another question. We have another question from the audience. Ms. Diamond, you have a question? I will allow
There's
that.
no questions. There's no questions.
You're saying that, okay.
There's a motion on the floor for item number 12B. It has been motioned and it has been seconded. Madam President, I'd like to ask for a voice, if you don't mind. President Council Harris,
Yes.
Council Vice President Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Talia Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Rocloud,
Yes.
Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. Council Monroe,
Yes.
thank you. And Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
Unanimous, the motion passes.
Thank you for moving it up.
Now we can pay the bills.
Yes.
What, do we have a love fest here?
May and June 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions?
Yes, I have questions.
Counselor, I know your questions will be specific. Can I just ask a general question? This packet is pretty thick, and it's also the first time that I've seen it. So is this all of the months combined, or are we considering May, June, and June as well? April, May, June, I don't even know where we left off. Mr. Nichols.
They're all separate. I don't put together your packet, so I don't know what's in your packet, and I don't have a packet myself.
Okay, because this looks different from the one that we,
We ran an AP list for May, we ran an additions in May, we ran an AP list in June, we ran an additions in June as bills came in.
so is this, so I just don't know what it is. Is this just the June list? Because it's pretty thick.
As I'm looking at Mr. Dotson's packet, he has a AP list for May, he has a AP list for June, he has an additions 2 for June. I don't see additions 1, because there should have been 2 additions in June.
I just have I have June AP, I have June AP additions, and, oh, I do see AP additions 2, but does this encompass the expenditures for May, would be my question.
May, it should be one that says May 18th as well. I'm assuming because the packets were put out for May and we didn't get to it, that you have it in your possession already. That's a budget versus actual report.
So is it prudent for us to vote for June when we haven't considered May?
The way the agenda reads is a consideration for the list for May and June. That's what the agenda states.
But we don't have May in front of us.
But you review May.
Yeah, they were delivered to your home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were delivered to your.
So I'm sorry, I'm hearing multiple people speak at
If you
the
don't
same
mind.
time. I don't know who.
If it was delivered to your home, you should have read.
Not only that, it was delivered electronically to every counselor. So the AP, I'm sorry, ma'am.
So was this delivered to our home?
Every piece of paper that you have was delivered to your,
This
should have been delivered to, but electronically, it was delivered to your email. So you're right, it may not be paper today, but you received it or should have received it by email.
People have been waiting on their checks. So, May and June.
May is not in front of us.
Walked out in May.
No,
This-
This is what we need from May. Not that. So,
I guess I'm asking Mr. Dotson, again, I don't handle your packets. I'm assuming that you all received a May packet. We were here last month. That AP list was in the packet that we were here and no business was conducted.
No business was conducted, but you did have it.
So I mean, I'd like to
You picked it up and walked out with it, so what happened?
so I'd like to have, so I'm sorry. Wait, I'm,
Vote to pay the bill.
no. Wait, excuse me,
Yes,
we're
Counsel.
still in a question period. So my question is that if we vote on this, for instance, there's a $27,000 payment to a webmaster that appeared on previous agendas and appeared on previous AP lists. Is that something that we're attempting to pass tonight?
Absolutely.
But it's not, it's,
No, that wasn't voted on.
it was not.
The contract may have been, but the payment was not. So my question.
The payment will be voted on from.
Bills need to be paid, it's not about that.
Councilman Monroe.
They're speaking about specific invoices.
I understand what you're
Specific
saying,
invoices.
but if nobody walks out the bill, you will understand it, but the bills need to be paid.
So,
Are you kidding me?
No, I understand perfectly
it-
well. What I understand is that there are certain invoices that absolutely should not be paid.
Okay,
We're not supposed to pay a vendor 50% of the
Upfront.
total amount before even seeing any work getting done.
The work is done, ma'am. The work
The work was done.
was done.
We spoke on this.
The work was done. You don't know about it, I'm telling you. It was done.
No,
The
it was
work was
not.
done,
No, it
ma'am.
wasn't.
The work was done.
No, it wasn't.
You can be verified.
No, it was
It was
not.
done. It was done. You don't know about it. That's your problem.
Madam President,
It's your problem if you haven't read it. They could have, they,
Respect each other, if we respect each other, everybody will understand what's going on, including the community that's here. But when you have chaos, you don't understand and you're not gonna know.
You be quiet, so.
No, won't you be quiet? They tell me I can't speak to the community. But I'm telling you, you need to be quiet because you don't know. No, I'm not Boo. My name is Carlette Brooks.
Please. No. Officer,
I'm letting you know. Don't stand up to me. Don't stand up to me. You need to be quiet. Don't tell me I need to be quiet. Don't tell me I need to be quiet. No, don't. You know what? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
By myself. If they remove you.
Well, then do it. Then do it. I'm willing to step down respectfully. I'm willing to step down respectfully because of you. Because people like you. Because you are disrespectful.
Mr. Nichols.
Disrespectful for David.
Madam
I just
President.
never said anything.
you gotta
I have it.
calm it down.
So
I'm done.
there,
Okay.
there is an additions and there's additions one. My question is like they're trying to put
The motion is on the
over
floor.
there through and that's all being
Yes.
met. So
Yes, the vote.
met. So we have additions and additions two, but we need May.
Okay, we're ready.
No, there are more questions.
We're gonna do it.
There are more questions.
Okay, all right. Are there any other questions?
I did not ask my questions, and Councilor Monroe, I don't know if you were finished with your questions.
Thank you. We don't have May in front of us, and I don't think that we should be even considering May when we don't even have it in front of us, and it includes things like a $27,000 payment to a vendor that most of us don't know. It sounds like Councilor Johnson doesn't know whether they've done work. We have no idea. And we
Well,
don't.
I can answer
Excuse
your
me, I'm
question,
asking for a
ma'am.
point
I
of
can
order
answer
because I'm
your
standing.
question.
I'm
I
not
will
finished.
answer your question
not
so it
finished
doesn't be
speaking.
ambiguous
But I'm not
to
finished
anybody else.
speaking. I'm not
Finish
finished
speaking and I'll answer your
I'm not
question.
finished speaking.
Well, finish.
So my question is, why are we even considering May when we don't have it in front of us? There are vendors that we don't know that are trying to push it through without having a discussion about it.
Okay,
So,
you've made your comment.
we
Let
don't-
me clarify for this audience and for this recording. You attended the workshops where these presentations were made. 3 different vendors made presentation. We summarily came into this chamber and we voted to approve that vendor. Excuse me, I'm not answering you. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. The work was commissioned, the contracts were signed, and the people began to do the work. The allocations were made of their own staff, and they built our website from the ground up, and they had other platforms that are done, and they are waiting for their payment before they release the information. Now, mind you, in 2018, Ms. Monroe hired Huff Communications before she was ever sworn in. And we wrote a check to them. The month that she was sworn in, $56,000 to Ms. Huff.
That is not true.
Excuse me. That is what Ms.
Nothing
Monroe,
was-
she
nothing about that is true.
And then
Nothing
Ms.
about
Huff
that is true, ma'am.
refused to release
And I will not
government website
allow you to continue to throw dirt. No, you can throw that gavel as much as you want, but that is not the truth.
It is a
not the
legitimate
truth.
contract. We signed
It is
off
not
on
the
it,
truth.
and the people need to be
It
paid.
is not the truth.
And you weren't around, Miss Beatty. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about, Miss Beatty. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You can say anything you want to say. Do what you're supposed to do.
The problem, Madam President, the problem right now is that the website has not been changed. No, it has not been done. So they haven't done it.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we amend to exclude a payment to Quad Jam. Councilor Rowe-Cloud, Councilor Edie.
I have never seen the website.
Mr. Johnson is our borough manager and he has never seen the website. So my,
Has not released. No, has not released. The passwords and codes are all
Now you're making it up.
No, that is true. That is true.
Work is done. The work is done. The work is done. You just want to. You're supposed to be educated.
Mr. Nichols.
What happened?
This is just the addition. Here's the actual
What happened?
list.
I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to. Okay. I don't have the online degrees that I bought. Mine's a real.
Motion is on the floor. The motion is
Listen, that a motion has to be amended because I don't see any, no. The motion has to be amended because if you look on the website, there has been no change. We did not give those people 50%. We can't do it.
Harris gotta go. Any change to the website? No. You can see it. Okay. The motion is on the floor.
So I've asked that,
They have not, the reason, because you have.
I would like
contract,
to
we signed the
amend the
contract.
motion.
They did the work. They have not, they.
I suggest we go back to executive session for 5 minutes to discuss this, because this is ridiculous.
I am asking that we amend the motion to exclude payment to Quadri.
Counselor, you have to hear this.
Carlette's not going into executive session. She's not going, she already said that. So I'm making a motion to amend it to exclude payment to Quad-Jam.
I second.
Mr. Boggs, I have a question.
Mr. Dotson,
Ma'am.
I made a motion to amend. Counselor Rowe-Cloud, I made a motion to amend, and Counselor Rowe-Cloud second.
It can't go up until they get paid.
I was supposed, I never received the codes or estimates.
Can council come back to order?
There is a motion on the floor to amend. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me.
There's a motion.
We're tired. Go ahead,
So they can't deliver it because they don't have the code.
Oh, you've been overruled.
But wait a minute. This is my understanding. The former webmaster has not, the present webmaster, Jan, has not been paid since January. He refuses to turn over any codes for the new website to come on. So we must pay him in order for the new web people to be able to put it on.
Thank you.
So here we are, so.
I say yay.
So,
We have to pay Jan.
So here we are.
talking all the time. There's a motion on the floor.
The
There's a motion on the floor to pay the AP list. There's a motion on the floor to remove Quadram. We have to vote on removing Quadram first.
Right, it's
So
an amended
moved.
motion. Okay, so moved by Counselor.
No. It was Monroe and Rowe.
Come on, all this is order. This is stupid. This is so.
Councilor Monroe motioned.
Thank you. Councilor Monroe.
Councilor Rowe-Cloud seconded to remove Quadram from the AP list.
The questions have been answered. And is there
Well, yes, I have a question. Because if we remove Quadram, do we then pay Jan so we can bring back Quadram? I got you.
part of the agenda.
Okay, all right.
Council President Harris. Amend the addition for Quadram.
Remove.
Let's remove.
To remove, then pay Jan, and then bring them
No,
back.
the only
This is a
thing,
motion.
there's a couple things happening at once.
Yeah.
The
One,
only
two,
thing
three.
that's happening right now
Right.
is to remove
I
Quadram.
got you.
Okay, great. Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Waters,
No.
Councilor Rowe-Cloud, Councilor
Remove
Rowe-Cloud.
Quad-Jam.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Brooks,
No.
She told them how to vote.
The vote has been recorded. The vote has been recorded.
Please just finish the vote.
No, Madam Councilman.
We're trying, let me explain.
Councilman Rowe, there's a motion on the floor to remove Quadram from the AP list at this present time. What is your pleasure, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty? Yes. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 1, 2, 3. No.
Now, what we're trying to do, initially, we were moving
Motion carries. Thank you.
We're trying to remove Quadram so that we can pay the current webmaster, Jan, and bring Quadram back on. So Jan will give the codes to Quadram to change the website. Everybody got it?
Yeah, it's a separate motion.
It's three motions.
But currently, we are not paying Quadram.
No, we're not.
Okay.
And move it right along.
Now the motion.
We have to remove Quadram, and then we're gonna make a motion to pay Jan, and then we're gonna bring Quadram back on. We have to do it that way.
No. That's not the full issue. That's not the full issue, and I did not ask my questions. The full issue relating to Quadram is the fact that they're asking for 50% deposit up front.
It is
that-
26
total.
And that is
And that's why I said we need to go in executive session for 5 minutes to discuss what we're gonna pay them.
So we
already agreed.
I'm not done with
We already voted to pay.
I can't hear anything.
The motion has been made and it has been passed. Quadram is removed from the AP list as we sit. The next motion is for the AP list approval. If you want to come back and make if you want to come back and make another motion to add Quadram back to it, you can do it.
But now we have to pay
We
Jan.
need to pay the bill.
We need to pay Jan.
You could have done that all at the same time.
So moved.
Yes, they could have been done all at the same time.
Ask my question.
Motion has been made to.
We are still in questions for the AP list.
AP list.
We're still in questions for the AP list.
So moved.
Who second? You second?
It was
Thank you.
already done. It wasn't done, we're still in questions for the AP list.
And Jan is on this, he's on the list since January.
No, since June.
But I'm hearing he didn't get paid since
January.
January.
But he's on, his pay is on the AP list.
Okay.
If we
As
passed
long
it,
as that was included.
you just have to read it.
I was looking through that.
All right.
Okay.
The motion has been made and it has been seconded to approve the AP list minus the motion that was made previously to remove Quadram. I will ask you, Madam President, for a vote by voice.
No, we still in questions for the AP
I'm
list.
sorry, Madam Councilors.
So, my questions. With respect to Jan Dudier, I see an invoice here for $6,600. So the invoice is for time period January 1st, 2023 to May 1st, 2023. 5 months. And we're just now receiving this invoice. Why hasn't he been submitting invoices on a monthly basis? Why are we getting this bulk invoice? And to be quite honest, I don't know what he's done. For instance, from January to May 1st, the description says, time spent on YB.com website, add a new post, videos, news, graphics, including edits. $6,600. So I'm not understanding why we're getting an invoice for 5 months right now, since January.
And when did we terminate Gary Core?
Yes,
Because it
Gary
seems like
Core, right.
That was some overlap.
It,
As a finance director, different people within the borough engage in services. And I work directly with the borough manager. So all I do is verify the information and submit this for you for approval.
so there's,
Juan didn't talk directly with
uh-huh.
me. I will say, based off your description, I'll ask the question. I'll be honest, I don't look at the website. I really don't.
So,
Were videos posted of meetings, were minutes posted, I don't know, to verify his invoice. That's how we will verify it.
but here's the issue. There is absolutely some overlap because Gary Core was also getting paid to do the same job.
Unfortunately, Madam Counselor, Mr. Yan came on because Mr. Core could not or did not know how to do what he was hired to do. So, excuse me, lady, this is not, when I say what I'm saying, it is not intended to embarrass Mr. Core. It is not intended for you to say, I told you so. I'm addressing Madam Counselor on a specific issue, and she asked the question. The answer is unfortunately. So therefore, by way of WATEC, we have Mr. Yan. Yan came on and did all of the background work that needed to be done, and he did all of the corrections.
But at the same time, I didn't vote, I voted no. But at the same time, Mr. Core was still getting paid. So that's the issue.
I would submit that you are, and Mr.
And if I could just make one correction, because I spoke with the president of WATEC, and he said that he is not affiliated with Mosley Webb or Jan de Ruyter at all.
No, that, Madam Counselor, I spoke to, I know.
He referred him, but they are not associated, because to me, that would also indicate kind of double dipping if he worked for WATEC.
Well, that's why.
Well, sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If he worked for WATEC and was billing us independently, I felt that that would have been a conflict. However, we confirmed with WATEC that he was never an employee of WATEC, but he was referred to us by WATEC, and WATEC doesn't want to be associated with Mr. de Ruyter's work. So I just wanted a point of clarity.
So I'm not done with my questions. So again, we're being asked to approve an invoice for $6,600 for a time period of January 1st until May 1st, 2023. So when I did the calculations, that's about $1,320 per month, in addition to paying Mr. Core. So somebody was just getting some money and wasn't doing the work. That's what is happening. That's what happened, and that's what we're being told today. Because he just said he didn't know what he was doing, he couldn't do it. But yet and still he was getting paid to do it, but they was also paying Jan Dudier to actually do the work that we were paying Gary to do.
And again, it's
So,
hard on the cellular devices. The last time that we pulled up the email that we had with the board was September of 2022.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think it happened, that he got paid anything.
You know, the phone sometimes is hard, but that's the last that I can pull off here, September.
That's okay.
Thank you.
And
All right.
John did not come in until January?
Yes.
January?
I'm not sure, Madam
She just read the January date of the invoice.
Here's a one, so invoice that said vice services,
So did you hear? He also was provided. So I'd like to entertain a motion to remove Jan de Ruyter until we can figure out what he's invoicing us for, because it's not clear what we're being invoiced for.
It's clear.
I second. Yes, I have more questions. And there's
Jan, about removing Jan. Wasn't there didn't you just second to remove Jan? Yeah, so are there any questions about that?
Removing Jan? No.
No. All right, let's vote on removing. Right.
The vote to remove Jan from the AP list.
Until we can.
No,
So my full motion was the motion was to remove him from the AP list until we can figure out.
The man has to be paid, he gave you the invoice.
So my full motion was to remove him from the AP list until we can figure out the full extent of the invoice that was presented. Because we don't have that information, and it does appear that there's some overlapping between in 2022 and in 2023 for his services.
There's a motion on the floor, Madam President. May I ask by voice vote, excuse me,
Go ahead.
Council President Harris,
No.
Council Vice President Johnson,
No.
Councilor Talia Jones Waters,
No.
Councilor Roll Cloud,
Yes.
Councilor Brooks, Councilor Monroe,
Yes.
and Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
The motion passed
The
4 to...
motion
Excuse me, it's the motion
fails.
4 to 3.
Yes. The motion.
I'm not finished with my questions on the AP list. So I'm still going to push to try to be fiscally responsible with the tax dollars. So I see we spent $1,600.
Just let me know which AP list you're on.
It looks like June. Yeah, it looks like in June, we paid $1,600, almost $1,700 for dog services. Again, this is a problem. I don't understand why we're paying so much money for dog services. Are we getting reimbursed when we call in animal control? They come, they pick the dog up, and then someone goes and claims the dog. Then the animal control person again gets paid from the owner of the dog. Where is the oversight on this?
So the dog services, like that was at 50 and the animal control was not at 35. Delaware County Animal Control, they don't pick up dogs. Mr. Dean does the dog, picks up the dogs. That's all he does. My understanding, I think, hopefully that something, if we find the dog and we get the tag and the owner will do billing, that's my understanding.
That's what's supposed to happen. Dean's supposed to get back to us if they find the dog.
But Delaware County Animal Control, that can be a deer or a raccoon, anything like that that a resident calls. So we don't really recoup those calls.
So what can we do moving forward to ensure that we can recoup some of these expenses? Because every time little Fido runs from under the gate and animal control or Dean comes in and finds him, take him to his whatever kennel, and then they call the owner, and the owner goes and pay Dean to get their dog, but we're paying Dean to come out pick the dog up, and I mean, just for Dean alone is $750. So how many dogs did Dean pick up? I mean, at least $70 for this type of money.
Okay, so if that need to be changed, then it need to be changed, because from the years that I've been living out here, when a cat get hit by a car and you don't know who cat that is, I called animal control. No, they tell me to call 911. I called 911. They said animal control. I never known it to be a cost. Because it was killed in front of my door, in the street.
Well, we had a conversation with the chief, and the chief acknowledged that the borough should be reimbursed for people, for the dog that needs to be picked up. We've also agreed not to keep the animals in the borough hall, but to have them outside of the building. So according to our chief, we will start to be reimbursed from people whose dogs are missing and they come to claim them.
Okay, so what if the dog get killed? What do you do?
I don't want to be cruel, but if the dog is killed, then I think the police would go by and, you can answer that, chief.
Public Works.
Public Works, thank you.
Public Works will pick up the
Thanks.
deceased.
That's the answer. Public Works will pick up the deceased animal.
The recommendation I would make some other municipalities, they impose ordinances to charge that fee when they call in, that's law.
Well, they do now.
So I don't believe we have an ordinance currently on the books here.
We do now.
We will, you're right.
Because if a raccoon or a possum get killed in the street and it's in front of your driveway or in front of your door, you want it removed, you have to pay for it. Now, It didn't, it haven't always been like that.
Give your neighbor $20 in the show.
If that's the case, then we need to dead deceased animals. These
Yeah.
are live animals. I think we should.
Live animals you should pay.
So we should have a conversation about this because these expenses are, I mean, they're exorbitant.
There used to be a lot more.
Yeah, and
There used to be a lot more. It's in the $20,000 and $30,000 in the past, and I know through evolution of thought, we did get it much under control, but it was a lot more in the past. Like I can remember $20,000, $30,000 for animal control. It got out of, it could get out of hand.
Chief, can I ask a question of the,
Any other questions?
yes, I have a question of the chief.
I still have a question.
And I still have questions on the AP list as well.
Oh, you still talking about the animals? Oh, so, oh, okay. Oh, we go after the questions. I see we have car wash services now. We always have car wash services.
For our code card.
For our code cars only for the code cars. Oh, for police cars too? Okay. I just wanted to make sure because this is the first time I've seen it and I'm like, oh, we have that? Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I think,
So I have,
oh, one more.
Okay.
I'm sorry, two more actually. I see we have, Carl Ewald on here, for payment. I believe Carl Ewald is on here. It says, $1,225, and this is for June. But if I'm not mistaken, we had a meeting before June indicating that the case that he was representing the borough on was basically settled, and we just needed to vote on same. So what else after that did he do? What other services?
that's actually an agenda item.
I'm sorry?
That's actually a current agenda item to vote on the settlement for Restore.
Right, but
Isn't this for April or May, but he's never got paid?
no, this is for June.
He hasn't
He has not been paid.
He hasn't been paid.
But Mr. Nichols just told us that the AP lists are independent. So there's something that's in
Right,
May.
this is for June.
This is for June.
Yeah, this is
He
for
is still
June.
the attorney, working with the zoning hearing board, excuse me, with the zoning hearing board, mediator that's going for the settlement with Restore.
So-
He is the attorney of record, he's special attorney for that matter altogether.
So here's the issue. Here's the issue.
If you look at the thing that says document number, it says 8 and 523, that represents that as a belonging to that.
Where?
And the document number, next to that, it's the document description.
Yes.
It says 2385 on his invoice, it represented for the month of May, which is why this is on the June 18th.
Oh, okay, so
That's
that was
what you walked out.
that was for May. Okay,
You didn't have a meeting in May.
Excuse me.
so that was for May.
Y'all canceled.
Okay, so now I have an invoice from him for, June that for a few $100s, it's a little blurry because I took a picture and I can't really. Yeah, but this is for June. But if we were already settled with the matter and it was
You're not
just waiting,
settled.
I'm asking a question.
It's not settled.
Calm down.
No, I'm calm down. All of you want to do is listen.
Yes, so, so here's an invoice from Mr. Ewald for June. So if the matter was already settled and is just waiting for a vote, what other services is he providing that's costing us money? There shouldn't, this is my question. It's just a question.
The man hasn't finished his work. I don't know why why you want to?
But we were told a couple of months
He's
ago.
not finished.
We were told a couple of months ago.
On the resolution that he had to take back to the intermediate council.
So this is what
It's not finished, ma'am.
So this is what I'll say. This
You're
invoice.
confusing the issue.
No, I'm not confusing the issue. I'm looking at the invoice and I'm looking at the invoice and it's for June. If the case was already settled, it is settled. It was nothing else. All they were waiting for was the vote. So what other work is he doing? So what other? So this is what I'll say. So this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. All he was doing.
Madam President, it is going to be settled. We're going to vote on that tonight for it to be settled, and he should not get in another payment after that. Am I right?
If we vote this tonight, he's gonna have to call the gentleman, he's gonna have to set up an appointment. He's paid by the hour, he has to give that to them.
So there will be one more payment. Okay. All right.
Well, this is.
But wait a minute, Council President, if you just listen, let her talk. So she gets blue in the face, and then you respond. You don't go back and forth, because now we don't know who the fucking idiot is. Yes, we do. No, I don't think like that. I'm saying, excuse me, I'm saying,
So all I'm going to say is simply this. This is what I'm going to say with respect to this invoice that's in front of me. There's a couple of phone calls that we were billed for, and the phone calls was with Sharon Council Harris. And what I don't understand, again, is simply this. If a few months ago, the case was just waiting for us to take a vote, there should be no other work done. They're just waiting on us to take a vote. Facts don't lie. Facts, these are facts. I have the invoice. And if you have a problem with me questioning how we're spending tax dollars, then something is wrong with you and you're hiding something.
And Councilor Rose, and Councilor,
Madam President,
now, I will try and keep it calm. If I am sitting in this seat and I'm the president of this council, excuse me, sir, and I'm the president of this council, and special counsel that this entire body hired to intervene for us on a matter that should never have come to what it is today with having a dispensary in this town for our kids to drive by and walk by. That's what it should not have been. So this special counsel that was selected to do this work, who represents over 18 different municipalities in this area of borough code, the attorney went to bat for us so that we didn't have $1 million lawsuit litigation that's going to drag on and on and on. This Restore not only sued me, who did the appeal on our zoning, who they were authorized by Monroe and Mr. Gibbs.
Point of order.
Would you be quiet? Excuse me. They authorized the development of that marijuana dispensary without any of us knowing anything about it. And excuse me, you didn't know anything. You just talking.
Order, please. You cannot address council.
And the fact of the matter is that we were sued. Each of the zoning hearing officers were sued, and they resigned from the board. And we had no one. The matter was we won the appeal. against Restore.
We did not.
And
We did
you
not.
don't know what you're talking about.
We did not.
Excuse
We
me.
did not. We did not win any appeal.
I was the appellant.
We did not.
We won the appeal. Be quiet.
We did not.
Won the appeal.
No, not when they're lying.
Restore, you're the liar. You're the liar, Monroe. Monroe is the liar. Okay. Okay. I'll tell you.
It's on the agenda.
We won the appeal
Settlement.
because that
The Restore
was
settlement.
placed there. Excuse me. The
It's on the
Restore was
agenda.
built there and retrofitted there under the wrong borough code. It did not permit that type of company there. Now they put $800,000 into the building. They came before the council and they appealed our
I'm asking
win
for a point of order.
Excuse me, to the county.
I'm asking for a point of order.
And because of that,
It's not about the truth, it's off topic.
You just keep yelling out.
It's off topic, that's why you asked for a point of order.
Doesn't matter.
It's off topic.
Truth of what? We're talking about. Y'all gonna have a poppy store out here in a minute, selling loosies, selling sticks of weed, cause that's what y'all want. Evidently, that's what you used to.
Don't blame the bud.
Okay.
Alright, you know what? Talk from the
down,
bush.
sir.
I don't wanna hear all this
She's
stuff.
insulting.
I don't wanna hear all this stuff. I
Okay.
want to call for the vote. I'm tired of hearing all this rhetoric.
Thank you, Counselor. There's a motion on the floor. There's a motion on the floor to approve the AP list.
So I still have additional
Council
questions.
President Harris.
No, I still have additional questions on the AP list. And I'd like to,
Call for the vote.
Yes.
so I still have additional.
If y'all were here for the vote, if y'all would stay here and listen. If I wasn't here, y'all be then walked out by now. The bills wouldn't get paid.
Yes.
I'm tired.
There's a question. There is a question to the motion. Counselor, there's a question to the motion.
So yes, I still have questions. There's a $250 charge to the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs for the delegate conference for Loren Johnson. It's my understanding that Councilor Johnson didn't attend. And there's also a Hershey Lodge reservation for $2,287.71. The PSAB conference? Okay, so I understand that I said that I understand that you didn't attend, but there's a charge on the AP list okay, well, may I? Because now we're interrupting. So on May 18th, there's a $250 charge, and then there's the Hershey Lodge for $2,287.71. My question is, are there refunds that are going to be provided since Councilor Johnson didn't attend because we were voting to pay for something that we didn't receive?
Yes, we received both refunds.
Okay, good. We can't ask about the monies?
For the room and the conference, right? All right, thank you. And then, Council President stated that she engaged the services of Carl Ewald prior to being on council, and then finished up with your tax dollars. Please understand that the borough was not a named party in this Restore.
You can only address the council president, and you cannot address the audience.
I am addressing the council. So what I am addressing the council. I don't have to look.
Argumentative, let the council finish the statement, please.
So what I am interjecting is that this lawsuit the borough was not a named party. Carl Ewald was introduced after being engaged by the concerned citizens of Yaden to represent them privately, and then was asked by the borough and hired by the majority to represent the borough in a case that didn't have to happen because the borough was not a named party. Restore was suing the zoning board and concerned citizens, not the borough of Yaden. This was voluntary.
That
You
is not
don't,
true.
you don't voluntarily enter yourself
That is
into
not true.
a
You just
lawsuit.
rolled out a bunch of lies.
Oh, she did.
That is not true.
All right.
You're lying.
What are we
Are
voting on today?
No. The question, are there any more questions?
What do we?
If there are no other questions, there's a motion on the floor. The motion is to approve the AP list. I will ask Council President Harris for her vote, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Council Vice President Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Talia
Yes.
Jones Waters, thank you. Councilor Rowe-Cloud.
No, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Monroe.
No.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty.
No.
Thank you. The motion passes 4-3 for the AP list.
Councilor Johnson, would you introduce the motion for quadrant to be placed back on?
The problem I'm having with that is I do not believe we should pay any company 50% of what they're due. I believe we should be paying them a portion to get started, maybe $25,000.
Councilor, if I may, the contract that this body approved, this company came out and made 3 different presentations, independent presentations, both to you, myself, the manager. Then they came to the whole workshop, and they made a presentation along with 2 other vendors. They gave a portfolio. They described what they would do in terms of what our expectations were and what we were looking for in building a state-of-the-art type of application, IT services. These people were computer engineers, not just IT people that have been practicing their craft for years. These people were academics to bring to Yaden a pleasant and inviting website that had all of the bells and whistles that we felt this community needed. We voted on it. The contract specified, because the heavier part of the work is done, Councilor Johnson, Vice President Johnson, the majority of the work to design the website, that we gave them descriptions of what we wanted. They had 6 different employees working to develop the website that was state-of-the-art. They did the work over the past 3 months. They required their department. The reason that the amount is what it is because the majority of that work is done the first 60 days. They completed the work. They gave us a timeline. And then they said, for the next year, we will have dedicated staff to update your whatever current information, developing a newsletter that's electronic, that will go to all the residents. They did all of that. And they were waiting to receive the payment because that was the bulk of the work. The rest of the work is now, it's going to be maintained until next year, next May. And so they take monthly payments after that work is done. And we had that discussion with the finance director. We pulled money out of other line items so that we wouldn't hurt our budget. Mr. Nichols can attest to that.
All right.
And to sit here today after they've done the work, and they reminded us that we signed the contract.
All right.
All right.
I haven't seen any work.
I haven't seen any work either.
I haven't seen any work. And again, no responsible homeowner would hire a contractor and give him 50% of the total amount of the job up front. No responsible.
Counselor, it's
no
not
responsible homeowner.
Counselor.
What I said, no responsible homeowner would do that. No responsible.
I believe
No, that's no. That has nothing to do with it.
Listen, I know and I
No, we don't
understand
do
everything that
that. We
happened,
don't do that.
but I would
Listen.
not pay half of the money.
Mr. Boggs, Mr. Boggs,
No,
Mr. Boggs, I have a
no.
question for you.
The problem is, it was voted in. I did not vote them in because I didn't see a rush for it to be done. They could have waited till next month, as far as I was concerned.
I didn't
But
vote them in
because they
either.
were voted in, and the contract states that they have to have $26,000, I don't know if it can be changed.
Who?
Let me try. This being on the AP list is a result of a previous vote.
Yep.
We debated, I believe Councilor Monroe and Councilor Rowe-Cloud made this point very, very clearly, that we should never pay anybody half of anything.
And I voted no.
$26,000
I voted
is an
no.
insane amount of money. So this body discussed this particular thing, it voted, and now we have to pay what we voted for.
And I think it has to be paid.
Well, here's the thing. Well,
Unfortunately-
here's the thing. We did not vote to pay $26,000 up front. That was never.
That's in the contract.
It's in the contract.
It wasn't a contract that was brought to our.
It was. You argued it. You were the
And I
one.
said no.
You said no. You argued it and said no. Right.
But did you go back? But when we voted it down the first time, did you go back and try to adjust the contract to something
No,
more
once we
reasonable?
voted the first time, it had to then go on the AP. Mr. Nichols had to put it on the AP list.
It's back on this AP list. It's back on the AP list because we voted it down before.
No.
So, yeah, because it's back on here because initially we wouldn't vote for it. So what I'm asking is, the issue was, it was an insane amount of money to pay someone up front. So when it was voted down the first time, why didn't whoever go back and try to renegotiate the terms of the contract? So what happens is, we voted it down, and the responsible parties did not go back and try to revise the terms.
Right, and then it came
So
back,
they
and it
just
voted,
took
and
the
it came
vote and did
through.
nothing with it.
Please, one at a
They took the vote and did nothing with it. That's what happened.
It passed because of.
It didn't pass because if it passed, we wouldn't be voting on it today.
we voted on the proposal.
May I make a suggestion? That tonight, we pay them $13,000, and next month, we pay them the next
Contract. What you can do is, you can.
The vote now is to essentially say, the vote now is to say, if you vote not, if it stays off, if it stays
It
off.
does not say we have to give them all of it in one payment. We can. No.
It does say $26,000.
Thank you. I can't stand lying.
The contract came after the proposal.
That's right.
We signed it because we were authorized to sign.
You signed it, and you shouldn't have signed it because you had no business signing it.
So that needs to be changed.
I have a question.
You gotta change it.
That's what happened.
You gotta call them and change it. Because we voted on we did not vote on the contract yet.
I got a question for our,
Well,
I
they
have
had
a
to
question
sue the
for our
judge.
solicitor. I have a question for our solicitor.
Are you getting?
Mr. Boggs, what is our exposure? And the borough manager, what is our exposure if we don't pay Quadram Jam according to the contract?
It's their prerogative. Now, if they're different, like if we give them $1,000 instead of 26, they're likely to sue us. If we give them 20 or 15 or 10, they're less likely, but that's their prerogative because it's not what was agreed to.
Well, if we give them a
So we
down
were
payment,
just, did we
I
vote
don't
on a
think they would have
contract
any
or did we
reason to
vote on a
sue us.
proposal?
And I say we should give them a down payment. Nobody pays anybody half of the money for what to be
It's a
done.
contract. It's a contract. You should have done this
What you
as
have to understand, what you have to understand. She signed the contract.
And I signed.
What you have, Loren,
You can't.
what you have to understand, whatever we voted on, when other councilors voted it down, and we voted yes, and it's a go, we have to.
That was just on a proposal.
It was a proposal.
But
I
hear me
didn't
out.
know it was just on a proposal.
Because
second.
Mr. Nichols,
Here.
Ms. Brooks, Councilor Brooks.
Finance director. You know
Yeah, let's hear the finance director.
Well, you got it.
Hold on, folks.
Councilor Brooks.
I stand to be
All right,
corrected.
yeah,
Counselor
let's hear the
Brooks.
finance director.
Excuse me,
Hey.
Counselor Brooks, our finance director just told us that what we voted on was the proposal and the contract came later. So
But-
we
and I-
voted on the proposal.
And
So
I-
we
and I-
should have
and I-
revised
and-
their proposal.
Okay.
Our finance director
I
said it.
didn't finish.
All right, I'm gonna speak to this, because that.
I was actually gonna help you out. I was gonna help you out. If you all let me finish, I'm objective, I'm not on one side or the other. I wanna make that clear, because I feel like I get cut off when I don't say something that this person hears and the other side does the same. The fact that we voted on a proposal, we did. But once a borough official signs a contract, the borough is bonded. So you have to pay it.
Yes, thank you.
It's unfortunate
So
that it went
nobody
down that
told
way.
her to sign a
get that.
contract,
But it's bonded now.
but nobody told her to
You're
sign.
right.
But this is what happens. This is what happens. No, you're idiotic for signing a contract with that in there. That's why you're broke, because you're fiscally irresponsible. You're broke. You're broke.
You're supposed to, you're broke.
Wait a minute now.
You're supposed to.
Wait a minute.
You're supposed to, and you want the all to go broke.
But that's funny. That's funny.
There's a motion,
I don't think we have a choice at this point, because it is a binding.
Oh, go ahead.
We can vote, we can vote. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. We already know how it's gonna go. I wanna move forward.
I know, I'm trying to figure out what.
True.
Yeah, we do need.
I thought we did.
We approved the AP list. Now there were questions. Excuse me.
One question. When this contract came about, were all the council people notified?
No. No.
We discussed it 3 different times.
You were not here.
Madam President, when we took that vote, I voted no because I didn't see why we had to rush to get this new company. John was doing a fantastic job, as far as I could see. I did not see where we had to hurry up and get these new people, even though I do think they're great. What they're doing is some great things. But we did not have to rush this. And then it comes about and half the people don't even know.
Counselor, you sat in 2 presentations with this group.
But I didn't know anything about, no, you wait a moment. Because I did not know anything about having to give them half of what they were asking.
Counselor, in the proposal that they gave each of us, they laid it out.
But that proposal had to be redone.
In the portfolio, they asked us how long will it take them to do the website. We said we need that website in 60 days.
I know exactly what
Remember
we
that?
talked about.
Remember that? We talked about the Black History Month.
But what I don't remember is a contract coming through and all the council members being able to see that contract and to see that they were asking for 26, half of what they want, because I think half of the people here would have said no.
Okay, so,
Or down
okay,
in
so,
3 increments.
Counselor, so if we're binded to pay this company, we need to pay them. Now, we have to be careful on what we vote for. And I learned, we have to be careful, but we are binded to pay this company. So let's take the vote and stop being here all night.
Well, I want to know,
We have to be
them
careful
13,000
on what
now
we're
and
voting.
13,000.
No, it's a contract. They can come to us and
They already talking
They
about
can
how
come
many
to us and
suitcases
say,
we have.
breach of contract.
So we are
They
binded
can come to us
to
and
pay
say, we would
this
like to
company.
change
We have to
the
take the
contract.
vote. Let's take the
But
vote.
it's a contract.
It doesn't make her right for doing what she did. What I understand, or we're binded, we have, I gotta do it. Okay.
So do it.
Okay. The motion never, okay, we're on 4B. There's no motion to restore Quadram back to the AP list.
Okay, the motion to put Quad-Jam back on the AP list. Entertain the motion.
Who made the motion?
I thought we put it on the floor.
Ms. Jones Waters just made the motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
thought we did it already.
I second.
You can't.
Okay, why can't I say?
I second.
She can't second it, but she gotta give the gavel to someone else.
Excuse me, let me just write it down.
Yeah, know that.
I know she did.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Please.
Thank you.
Okay, by voice vote, to add Quadram, the proposed webmaster, to the AP list, Councilor Harris, President, please.
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
Councilor Waters.
Yes.
Councilor Rowe-Cloud.
No.
Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Councilor Monroe.
No.
Councilor Beatty.
No.
The motion passes 4-3 to vote to have Quadram added back to the AP list. Before she becomes.
No, moving up right along.
Okay.
I don't know why you have to get back. You should just authorize the payment.
Yes.
I don't get it. But that's that was a question. That was a question. We can move on. We can move on. We can move on. We can move on. The next thing is 4B. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to say that.
Thank you, sir.
There's a motion.
Cash balance.
Add it back to the AP list. So from my perspective, I wouldn't pay it until July, the next AP list is produced, because you took it off of the one you already approved. Mr. Bob?
So now you put it back on, put the things on.
They're not listening, they don't listen. Shut up, people.
So,
Do it again.
so,
She can table. Let's table.
Authorize the payment.
Authorize the exact amount of money. I like, that's.
Motion, yeah. Put the motion on the floor with the amount of money.
So moved.
We tabled that last motion.
No.
It just doesn't have an effect. It's just not gonna have any effect.
We're paying it.
Wait. Please tell me on to vote for Quadram. That motion was to add them to the AP list, which according to Mr. Mr. Narcisse, let's now do it the way that would make it that they would get paid. Yes.
So I make a motion to approve the amount of $26,039.50 for
26,000, I'm
Quad
sorry, ma'am.
for Quad Jam Enterprise.
Say the amount again, ma'am.
$26,039.50. That's what it says here.
Is it seconded?
And the motion was made by Councilor?
Waters?
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Waters and second by whom, sir?
Councilor.
Thank you.
no questions. So, I have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Solicitor, I have an email here dated May 10th. Good morning, everyone. Per the vote on May 1st, 2023, the borough has hired a new webmaster at the price that was discussed and debated at the legislative meeting. The one-year contract is attached. I believe it will be signed by all parties today. Any questions, feel free to give me a call. Councilor LaToya Monroe responded, "This is absolutely ridiculous. Why are we paying 50% up front? What if the services are not as expected? Where is the probationary period?" Councilor Leanna Rowe-Cloud responded, "I agree with Councilor Monroe. In addition to having concerns with sections 6, 8, 10, and 12. These concerns need to be addressed prior to the contract being executed. I am very disappointed that we are receiving a copy of the contract for review on the same day it is alleged to be executed. It's irresponsible and unprofessional." Councilor Nicole Beatty responded, same day, May 10th. "So at this point, what input are we supposed to have now? It's already been voted upon and decided that all parties are going, will sign the contract." So, by reading that is proof that we were provided with the contract. We were asked about how we felt about the contract. At least three councilors responded and said that was absolutely ridiculous to sign a contract paying 50% up front
and that we needed to discuss it before it was executed. And it's obvious that we were again ignored, and Sharon Council Harris did what she wanted to do and excluded the responsible counselors as per usual.
Well, I don't think she responded or excluded. I think that the 4 counselors voted.
No, that wasn't a vote.
You did?
No, that was not.
Councilor
No, that was Bonds asking us for input before the contract was signed. That was Solicitor Bonds.
At the workshop meeting in April, when these people presented to you and to Councilor Monroe, excuse me, you were presented with everything that these people had to offer, and you asked them a litany of questions. You and Miss Monroe.
That's why they said.
And you kept saying, you went again and again and again. You talked and you talked and you talked, and you asked 1,000 questions. But your opposition is obvious. Your opposition is obvious.
No, my opposition is
Your
clear.
opposition is personal.
We were being responsible counselors, and we indicated that we should not be paying 50% up front. And we were ignored. We were ignored. Solicitor, did you receive our responses on May 10th?
Yes.
Okay, we were ignored. You did what you wanted to do. I don't think so. So you did what you wanted to do. So she's responsible for squandering your money.
There's a motion on the floor.
So if we're
to
still
pay
in
for-
questions, I'd
There's a
like to
motion on
add.
the floor.
I have something to add as well. Thank you. So not only were we ignored, I would like to say that no one is disputing whether this company is viable. No one is disputing whether, we had the opportunity to ask them questions and to vet them. The only thing that we are disputing is the fact that we've asked that that contract be reviewed because it was irresponsible to offer 50% up front. That's the only thing that's in question right now, not whether they can do the job. It's just that we don't know anything about this company. So to come out and give them 50% of a huge contract, which is $54,000, that's a lot of taxpayer money. $57,000. That's a lot of taxpayers' money. And that's what's being disputed here, not whether the company is a.
What is it, 54?
Not,
Okay, 54.
not whether the company is good, but we don't know how they'll perform.
They have already performed.
That's not the issue. The issue was
And they did
before the contract was executed. Before the contract was executed,
It is the industry.
Without argument, how do we correct this?
It's
nothing we can do about it now because the contract has been signed by the president of the council, and if we don't honor the contract, that is a breach of contract. My problem is that
it was irresponsible to do so.
It is not irresponsible. It is not.
Madam President, I have to say, when we're dealing with taxpayer dollars, 1 or 2 people cannot sign a contract. That contract must go to every single person that sits up here. We all have a vote on it. It doesn't go between 2 people. And I voted no, because they did not have to come on right now. It could have waited till August.
So I have a question then. So wait, this is the math isn't mathing, because if Counselor Johnson is saying that she voted no to this, how did it pass? Because we know that Counselor Roadcloud, Counselor Beatty, and myself voted no as well. If Counselor Roadcloud, Counselor Beatty, and myself vote, okay, can we? I wasn't here. Can I?
And she wasn't here.
It takes 4 votes to pass.
Okay.
Wait a second.
let's pay the bill.
Can we,
And we have to carefully know what we're voting and how we're voting from now on.
so listen, so wait,
There's a motion on the floor
so I'm still,
to pay Quadram $26,000.
we are still in the questions phase, and this is, and what I am saying.
That's it, Councilman.
So no, we're not, we're not just closing it, we're still in a discussion phase. And my question is, and Mr. Dotson, at our last meeting, I also.
Where's the agenda now?
Counselor Brooks.
Where are we?
You
I apologize, but
like, come on. So Mr.
I
Dotson.
apologize.
All right, Mr. Dotson.
We have other business to attend to, Councilman.
Mr. Dotson.
You're beating a dead horse. Would you be quiet from that audience?
Mr. Dodson, we've had conversation about how some of the meeting minutes were recorded incorrectly.
Yes.
For instance, we said in our December meetings, and it's published on our website, there are votes that are recorded as 6-2, and we know that we don't have 8 counselors. So if Counselor Johnson is reporting that she voted no, there's no way that this could possibly have passed. I get.
3-2 vote, I remember that.
Yeah, you were out.
I think 2-2, I don't think you were here. Maybe
Yeah, that's right.
I think Nicole was here. Why you keep cutting her off? That's how it passed.
Yeah,
3-2.
Well, let's go.
All right, I know, she was here.
Unless there are other questions, there's a motion on the floor.
I was here. I voted no. I voted no because of the amount. So I voted no because of the amount. And if Counselor Johnson is saying that she voted no as well, now, so please stop interrupting me. Please stop interrupting me. I am saying that I was
We gotta get this done. We got another half of the agenda.
With due respect, Madam Counselor, are you finished with your question?
My question is, why are we rushing this through? Why won't we take the time to review this and make responsible decisions? Why do you keep interrupting?
You keep wanting to prolong things so that you can get your way. And it's not happening.
Madam Counselor, you've made your, I think you've made your point, and I would like to continue with the motion. The motion is to pay Quadram, the proposed webmasters, $26,039. Counselor President Harris, what is your pleasure?
Yes.
Counselor Vice President Johnson.
Reluctantly, yes.
Counselor Rollcloud.
No.
Thank you. Counselor Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. And Counselor Monroe.
No.
Counselor Beatty.
No.
The
Yes,
motion-
yes.
Wait a minute.
Miss Waters.
1, 2.
And this is how votes get recorded incorrectly.
You never.
You didn't, and this is,
Thank you for the correction. I'll make the correction.
this is how they get
As a
recorded
yes vote,
incorrectly.
the motion passes 4-3 in favor of paying Quadram the proposed contracted webmasters $26,039.
Thank you, Mr.
We have 4B.
4B, consideration for the cash balance report for April and May.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions regarding the cash balance report for April and May 2023? Hearing none,
Yes, ma'am.
please, the roll call vote, sir.
Councilor President Harris.
Yes.
Counselor Vice President Johnson.
Yes.
Counselor Waters.
Yes.
Counselor Rollcloud. No. Counselor Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. Counselor Monroe.
No.
And Counselor Beatty. The motion to pass the cash balance report is a majority 4-3. It passes. Thank you.
Under new business, the workshop meetings for the summer months of July and August to be a consideration for those meetings, for those workshops to be canceled. All in favor, which indicate, may I have a motion? So moved. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Are there any questions?
The motion needs to be amended. The July meeting has already passed.
Yep. Okay,
So I'm asking for to entertain a motion to amend.
okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Hold on a second, please.
Okay.
Um,
Moved by Council Monroe,
Yes.
and second by Councilor Beatty to amend it because July has passed. First Monday in July. All in favor for the amendment indicate by voice vote, Mr. Johnson.
Council President Harris
Yes.
and Councilor, Vice President Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Rowe-Cloud.
All right, what was the motion?
The motion is to amend 5A since the first Monday.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, that is a yes?
yes.
Thank you very much. Councilor Brooks? And Councilor Monroe?
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
Majority vote, unanimous vote to amend the,
Councilor Johnson, you voted?
yes.
Okay, consideration to approve the proposal.
You didn't take the vote.
For August.
Okay, there's a motion to,
For August.
okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Who made this motion?
Oh, yeah, the motion was.
Made by whom?
For, Councilor Jones Willis, who made the motion for the, this summer months? This been.
No, I didn't.
This is,
Mis-
no, no.
Mr. Dodson, you should already have it written down. It's the same motion as before the amendment. So look at your paper right before the amendment, and that's who, the right before the amendment, and that was the original motion.
So
So
the,
you call for the vote.
I'm sorry.
So you call for the vote?
So that was the original motion, the one right before the amendment.
So 5, before the amendment.
Yes, the amendment was a part of the original motion. So if you look at your,
Suspending the workshop meeting.
Okay.
so if you look at your original motion, whatever is right above it, it should be the who moved in second.
What I have, Councilor Monroe, is 5A, 5A consideration.
Yes, that's it.
For July, right?
Yes.
And August.
So we.
July, so yeah, so we started with July and August and we removed July. So now we're back to the original motion and it's only August, so it's 5A.
So that's right.
Right, you're on 5A. So whoever moved and seconded 5A, that's what we're discussing.
Okay, so, right, so you made the motion
I did not.
for 5A?
I made the amendment.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty? And then,
Seconded the amendment.
yes, ma'am, and then it was unanimous?
Now we have to go back to A.
Which I believe it was Councilor Waters and Councilor Brooks would have motioned and seconded just to cancel all summer meetings. So that's what we're back on now.
So moved.
So the amendment, Mr. Boggs, reads, the council all summer meeting for the workshop.
So, Jones Waters motioned 5A generally, and then Councilor Monroe said we got to remove July. So we just had that vote. That was motioned by her, seconded by Beatty, and we had that vote. So August is gone. Now we just need to vote on 5A with July removed. I'm sorry, August stays. We just have to vote on 5A with July removed.
And then who made the motion?
Councilor Waters and Councilor Brooks seconded.
Okay.
Just voting on August.
That's all we have to do is August, right?
Yeah.
That's what I, okay. And I don't
So
want to,
if I
please,
could-
I don't want to sound rough, and I apologize, but if we can move on, so the vote. yes.
So I have something to add for the August portion. So, as tiring as these meetings are, given the number of meetings that have been canceled and
Please, Ms. Monroe.
Council first.
so,
Please, Ms. Monroe, please.
so given the number of meetings that have been abruptly adjourned and the state of our community with
Can you let her finish?
No.
You adjourned. Canceled.
You adjourned. You adjourned on a little baby. You adjourned on a little baby.
She walked
On a 10-year-old little girl.
Leaving us with
You
no
adjourned the
quorum.
meeting on a 10-year-old little girl. And you made her cry. You are ridiculous.
Stop it. What about the meetings that was walked out on? Y'all
Okay,
won't
leaving
address
us with
that.
no quorum.
We're talking about
The whole
the
thing
meetings
is, the whole thing, you know what?
takes four
And I'm gonna tell you
councilors to make a
something. I don't have to tell you.
Madam Counselor, Madam Counselor, Madam Counselor, you cannot address the audience. You can only address the council president.
You paid the bill.
You can only address council president. You cannot address the audience.
Why I didn't come? Because I owed you an explanation.
Please do not respond.
You no explanation.
Please do not respond.
No explanation.
Please do not respond.
No, you're right, you don't.
Please do not respond.
You are 100%. Don't act.
Please, please, Madam Counselor, you cannot address the audience.
No more because you made a mistake.
You cannot address the audience. You can only address the council president. You can only address the council president.
I'm letting you know.
You can look at her and talk to her through them. And it's much appreciated, but you cannot have discourse with members of the audience. Can we move on, please? We are now asking for a voice.
So,
We're asking. We want to hear the vote for August.
So wait,
Suspend that meeting.
I was still speaking, Mr. Dodson. I haven't been yelling at anyone, and I was still speaking. So my
Move. Second. No, they don't.
so my
Confusion.
Your, please,
so my suggestion.
Distraction.
If you still live in the town.
please, continue. Continue, please. We have a lady here who represents one of our vendors. She's been here since 7
I'm
o'clock.
trying.
We have to pay her. We have to pay her.
Okay, so my suggestion, given that we've had shootings in our park, we've had 6 burglaries, people climbing through windows at night, we have new police officers, I think that we should consider whether this body needs to meet in August prior to the legislative session, because it gets very chaotic and unorganized and unfriendly when we don't have the information we need to vote on. So I do believe that it might behoove this body to meet in August. That was my add to this situation.
Well, for one, I cannot be here in August. I will not be here in August. If I'm not here in August, don't even plan to come to the meeting because they're going to walk out.
I won't be here myself.
But this is a workshop. This is the workshop, ladies. So we don't need a quorum. We don't need a quorum for the workshop. And please, as a borough manager, I would encourage you not to. I would encourage you not to say in front of our residents what you're not going to do. If you choose not to come, please keep it to yourself.
I'm saying so they can know the truth.
Let's get on with the
Because they cannot find the truth out on next door neighbors.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. There's a motion on the floor to suspend. There's a motion on the floor to suspend the August workshop.
I said so, move.
You moved it. You moved it. And who seconded it? Thank you. Oh my God. And now, Madam President, what is your pleasure, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Johnson, Vice President?
Yes.
Council Waters?
Yes.
Roll call, please. Council, please, my apologies.
No.
Thank you. Councilor Brooks?
Yes.
And Council Monroe?
No.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty? No. The motion passes 4-3 to suspend the workshop for the month of August.
Okay, beat please.
Okay. Engineer, the consideration of approval proposed settlement agreement for restored dispensary. What's your pleasure? You gotta vote this one.
So moved.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Any questions?
Yes, the settlement, is the settlement amount something that we're discussing?
The settlement amount from the negotiations is that Restore will donate $35,000 to cover attorney fees that then was translated into a nonprofit. So they're not doing attorney fees, it's a $35,000 payment that they are willing to pay and drop their lawsuit against the borough, the $1 million lawsuit.
So that's not accurate. So we have to pay Restore
We're
35.
not paying Restore anything.
Mr. Bob. Yeah, Mr. Bob.
Our insurance,
Our insurance carrier is paying $35,000 on our behalf to Restore for their attorney's fees. Restore has agreed to donate their attorney's fees to a local charity in Yaden.
Thank you.
That, what he said was, our insurance company on the borough's behalf is paying Restore legal fees. And Restore is going to donate, but Restore do not have to donate. They're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. I'm being interrupted. And they're being generous, but the borough has to pay their legal fees. The borough's insurance. The borough's insurance. But we have a deductible of. We gotta pay the deductible, and insurance is paying $5,000. We don't have insurance to screw up. We don't just screw up because we got insurance.
No, but we didn't screw up purposely. We tried to prevent the Restore from coming to this community. Next time, it's going to be a poppy store selling Lucy's and weed and all that shit.
That's derogatory.
No, it's not. No,
Yes.
it's not. It's the truth.
That's derogatory, and that's not
There's a
nice.
whole lot to say. Look what's out
There is a
there.
motion on the floor. Unless there are other questions, there's a motion on the floor for 5B. Please.
Hello.
Please.
so I have something that I also
She
have.
has another question, please.
She intentionally wants to promote.
Whatever, she has a right.
So
You got nothing else to do tonight.
She has to please, Madam Counselor.
Come on.
okay, so all
Wrap it
right.
up.
Quickly.
All right, so what I'd like to add and contribute is that even though our insurance company is paying this on our, Ms. Brooks, that's not nice. Even though our insurance company is paying,
Let her talk.
You need to be quiet too.
I will if you let her talk out.
Sir, please. It's 9:43.
That's right.
People, we have a lady who represents we have a lady who represents our engineering firm. We are paying that engineering firm by the hour to have her here. Please. Madam Counselor has a question. Our discussion for comment. Can she finish, please?
so even though we don't have to pay this out of pocket and our insurance company is covering it for us, we shouldn't overlook the fact that there were exorbitant legal fees that had to be paid out for representation in this case. So I don't want it to be purported to the public that we are getting off scot-free because we paid legal fees for months on end to the tunes of tens of thousands of dollars for various lawyers, Stratton
He was not paid anything. You
and
made sure of that.
Ewald and,
And he wasn't paid anything.
Why are you?
You don't know how much taxes I paid since I've been out
So-
here. You know, I don't care about what you say. I pay taxes for Yaden to pay the lawyers that we need.
I don't.
I pay a lot of taxes. You probably don't pay as much taxes I do.
You don't know what I pay.
No, I
But
don't.
Are there any more questions? If there are no more questions, there's a motion on the floor. I will ask Council President Harris for her vote. Thank you. Councilor Johnson. Councilor Waters. Councilor Waters, thank you. Councilor Rollcloud. Councilor Rollcloud.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilor Brooks?
No.
Thank you. And Councilor Monroe?
Wait, what's happening?
You are voting on this dispensary.
Dispensary stuff.
So why did she say?
Please, no, please, let her answer. Yes, ma'am. It's not. So, ma'am, what is your vote? Ma'am, what is your vote?
I can't keep anything straight when everything
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
for a whole year and a half.
You're absolutely right. What is your vote, ma'am? What is your vote? The question is 5B. 5B reads.
To approve the settlement
To
for.
approve the
I know
proposed
you're.
settlement. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Don't worry.
Excuse me, no, it's not don't worry. 5B is consideration to approve the proposed settlement agreement. Thank you, ma'am. The vote has been changed to a yes. Council Monroe. Council Monroe. Council Monroe.
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Beatty. Councilor Beatty. Councilor Beatty. Thank you, ma'am. The vote is unanimous for 5B. Thank you.
Okay, what else you get? The county aid.
No, you got minutes. You can't just do that. You have to amend this, Jen. You have to amend it. Who left?
So moved. On the county aid.
We are, no, county aid is next. It's the minutes.
Yeah, we're at the minutes.
Yes,
We're at the
please.
minutes.
The minutes
We-
have
we
been
need-
given to every councilor. All we
Well, that's
need-
not gonna get approved.
Let's go to
Well,
the
we need a motion to skip the
Engineer's
minutes.
report,
Is
please.
there a motion to skip the minutes?
Yes, motion to skip.
We have to do something with the minutes.
You can't just skip them. You have to have a motion.
We have to have a motion and a vote on the minutes.
Huh?
Motion to table the minutes until,
Okay, so you're seconding Councilor Waters' motion to table the minutes? Okay. Are there any questions on that?
No, can we have a vote, please? John Harris, please, Council President Harris? To table? Yes, and Council.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, there are questions.
Councilor Johnson?
No,
Councilor Waters?
there are questions. So what are the legal implications of us skip? We are required to have minutes and we don't.
Solicitor talk.
All I'm
I
trying to
didn't
say.
even finish my question. We didn't,
It would
we
be
haven't had
terrible.
any minutes for this
would-
entire year.
Illegal and terrible. My understanding of what was happening is they were going to just vote on the county aid without even moving to the county aid on the agenda. So I was trying to stop that. The broader implications of not returning to the minutes are horrible.
Can you explain what you mean by horrible?
It's already illegal. Someone could file a Sunshine Act complaint against us right now because we haven't posted the minutes for January we're voting on. It's illegal. It's illegal to not have minutes.
Well, let's do it.
Okay, well, that's why I'm.
but I've been saying that all along.
We have electronically given minutes to everyone. I would like. I would like to.
Mr. Dodson.
Madam President, if you don't mind, can we vote for?
There's a motion on the floor to remove or skip
To skip
whatever.
6 to go to 7.
Skip 6 to go to 7, so.
We're voting on this.
That's the motion.
Thank you.
No, you didn't vote on skipping 6.
Right. We started.
Let's vote.
And Councilor Rollcloud is
then.
next. Excuse me, there's a motion on the floor to skip the minutes. Now, the question is, Councilor Harris said yes, Councilor Johnson said yes, Councilor Waters said yes.
So they don't mind breaking the
We're
system.
So now if you're changing your motion,
We're gonna vote on that.
County aid first, and then it come back to the minutes.
So Counselor Johnson, you have to vote to amend your motion.
Motion to amend, approval of the minutes and put the approval of 2023 county aid application, in front.
So moved.
So second, so Councilor Johnson moved, Councilor Waters second.
Second.
Now we may vote.
And so does the same Councilors Harris, Johnson, and Waters say yes?
It's a different motion, Mr.
Excuse
Dodson.
me. Thank you, Madam Counselor.
So we'll do the engineer's report and then.
No, excuse me, we're still on the motion. So Councilor President Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Waters,
I'm sorry?
You said Brooks?
no Waters,
Oh, yes.
and Councilor Rollcloud,
What is this, the motion is, bypass the minutes?
yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor, she's absent. Councilor Monroe,
No.
ma'am,
No.
thank you. And Councilor Beatty. No. Thank you. The motion passed 4-2, one absent.
Wait,
The motion is yes. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
I don't think.
Oh,
4-2. I know the
do
count.
the engineer stuff.
The motion. Yes. Yes.
No problem.
Why don't you just let the engineer get up there and say
For
what
the
you have
engineer's
to say
report
now?
prior to the consideration to approve a collective bargaining agreement between the bargaining.
I'm saying that she's on the clock, but they don't let her get up there.
That was the engineer.
We just have to approve the county aid. My apologies. Go ahead.
Just real quick as a summary, the county aid is to support the road program. We will be utilizing 2022 and 2023 funds, and the remainder will come out of the liquid fuels. This is all to support the PennDOT approval, which we did receive, and we are in conversation with the contractor to get this scheduled as soon as possible.
What's the dollar then?
Your county aid allocation per year is 9,000, Mr. Nafis, 9,567. And we will be utilizing, it'll be roughly a little more than $19,000 of county aid funds that is allocated to you.
Thank you.
Is that for liquid?
Are there 8?
No, this is for county aid. The remainder of the funds for the road program this year will be county aid, will be liquid fuels funds.
So that you said this is $9,000?
This is 19,000, 9,000 plus per year. Last year was not used, so we're utilizing last year's and this year's.
So this is 19,000, and is there any like matching requirement or anything?
Nope, this is all towards the road program. This was already budgeted at the beginning of the year. All the roads have been picked. This was approved with the road program for this year. That was awarded to AF Damon previously.
Okay. Do you know the roads that are going to be repaired?
I do not have them off the top of my head, however, I can send them. That was with the road program approval that was separate than this.
Send it to the manager here, distribute it.
I will.
I have a.
So moved.
Huh?
No, yeah.
Yeah, one question. Could you give us an update, or do you have an update on the PennDOT project, church in McDade? Do you have an update on that, where that is along the way?
So as part of this road program, the speed slot that will be prior to the signal is going to go in with the paving, and there's also going to be a second, what I'm going to call a speed hump. They will be slightly different, but those are both happening along that corridor to slow traffic down around that intersection.
Yeah, 'cause we've got 2 neighbors that are moving out now. One's already sold their house, the other is, they just can't take it no more. Losing good people,
Hopefully this will help.
hopefully. Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor, please. Are you finished, madam?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Madam President.
What is the motion?
Madam President, it's your pleasure as to moving the motion forward to accept the engineer's report and her comments for 7A, consideration to approve the 2023 county aid application.
Councilman Waters.
Thank you.
Moves and second.
And thank you very much. And now I'll ask for a voice vote.
Are there any other questions?
Oh, I'm sorry, Madam President.
Are there any other questions with regard to the county aid? And the engineer's report? Hearing none, all in favor, which indicate roll call, Mr.
Council President Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Vice President Johnson.
Yes.
Councilor Waters.
Yes.
Councilor Rollcloud.
Yes.
Thank you. Counselor, she's absent, sorry. Counselor Monroe, please.
Yes.
Thank you, and Counselor B. Yes. It's unanimous. The engineer's report for consideration for the county aid passes.
I would like to make a motion to remove Sharon Council Harris as chair.
There's a motion on the floor, excuse me, and Beatty to remove. There's a motion on the floor to remove our President Council Sharon Harris. From the presidency, it has been motioned by Councilor Rowe and second by Councilor Beatty. I will now ask permission, Madam President, for the vote. What is your pleasure? Are there any questions, please? Hearing none. Council President Harris.
No.
Council Vice President Johnson. No. Councilor Waters.
No.
Councilor Rowe.
Yes.
Councilor Brooks, she's absent, excuse me. Monroe?
Yes.
Councilor Monroe. And Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
There is a 3-3 tie on the motion to remove our current president. In this case, if, excuse me, Mr. Boggs, our solicitor, will give us comment on procedure.
If the mayor chooses to exercise a vote, he may break the tie.
I choose to exercise my vote, and I vote yes.
To remove our current council president, Harris, from her presidency, there's a 4-3 decision.
I'll make a motion
To remove the vice president as well.
Second.
Please hold on 1 second, please. Who seconded, please?
Leanna Roadcloud.
Who made the motion?
I did. Latoya Monroe.
There's a motion on the floor to remove our vice president, our current vice president, Loren Johnson, from her seat as vice president, dated 7/6/23. Are there any, Madam President, you can ask for the question.
You mean a vote?
There's no chair at the moment.
Oh, that's first, there's no, excuse me. There is a motion, so I will ask Council Harris, I will ask, since your name is first, what's your pleasure?
No.
And Ms. Johnson.
Excuse me, Councilor Brooks is on the phone.
No, thank you.
Too bad, so sad.
Yes.
No, you wouldn't let the mayor do it. Too bad, so sad.
Well, the mayor was
No,
out of
thank
the
you.
country, and Sharon was in here. That's the difference.
I'm not talking to you.
That's the difference.
Don't you talk to me.
That's the difference.
We're in the middle of a vote.
She can always come in.
We're in the middle of the vote.
Yes.
Keep it pushing.
That's right. Excuse me, all right.
Keep it pushing.
There's a motion.
Pushing.
There's a motion to remove our current vice president, Loren Johnson. Currently, Councilor Harris has voted no. Councilor Johnson has voted no. Councilor Waters, what is your pleasure?
Councilor Brooks was not present at the beginning of the vote. If Councilor Brooks comes in, or if someone makes a motion, no, she wasn't here at the beginning of the vote. It's the same thing as the mayor.
Let's go.
Same thing as the mayor. We have to make another motion.
Yes, I got it. It was not.
Let's go.
We'll make another motion.
Madam Councilor, what is your pleasure on this motion?
What's the motion?
To remove Vice President Loren Johnson.
That's all right.
from
Now,
her
just
seat.
vote again.
That's
No.
all?
And Councilor Rowe, please.
Yes.
Thank you. And Councilor Brooks?
She's not here.
Excuse me. Right. Jesus, a long night.
Come on, Monroe and B.
Councilor Monroe.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's right.
And Councilor B.
No else can either. No double standards.
It's a tie. The mayor, do you want to
If
exercise?
the mayor wants to exercise his vote, he may.
For your opinion.
Yeah. If the mayor wants to exercise his vote, he may break the tie.
Yes.
I make a motion.
I make a motion.
I make a motion to, I make a motion to.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Back in office.
The motion passed. Pass.
That's all right. I make a motion. I make a, oh.
The meeting is adjourned. You're not the council. You're not the president.
No, excuse me, the meeting has, excuse me, the meeting has not been adjourned. The meeting has not been adjourned. Huh? She'll come right back, she can come back when the meeting has not been adjourned. No, the meeting has not been adjourned. Because they walked out does not adjourn the meeting.
We knew they was gonna try it. That's what they do. You already knew where he stood. What's wrong with you? You already knew what it was. You already knew what That's his crew.
So instead of going and talking to him, you should be discussing the motion that needs to come up. You better ask her. No, you better ask her. You better ask Shelley. Okay? And then then who's president? Who's going to be president? Okay.
In a minute. That's it's not over. It wasn't adjourned. It wasn't adjourned. Remember, it was a tie. It wasn't adjourned. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Motion on the floor to appoint her the president, because we have not adjourned.
Please identify for the record the motion to appoint president.
Lynn Johnson, president.
The person who made the motion, who's the person? Thank you. Hold on, please.
Okay. Moved and properly second. Any questions? Here now.
Excuse me. As of right this minute, excuse me, ma'am. No, ma'am. At this moment, you're not the president.
Yes.
Mr. Boggs. Mr. Boggs.
There is no chair.
There's no chair.
There's no chair. The secretary runs the meeting.
Thank you. So the motion on the floor is to appoint Loren Johnson, president of Yaden Borough Council, and Councilor Harris made the motion. Who seconded it, please? Thank you, ma'am. By voice vote, starting with Councilor Harris, what is your pleasure?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Waters,
Yes.
and Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
The motion passed 4-0 since the other councilors are not here. You have now been appointed president of Yaden Borough Council. You can proceed, Madam President.
Vice President.
So I make a motion to appoint Sharon Council Harris as vice president.
Second?
Excuse me, let me record, please. Thank you, Ms. Waters. Second by whom? Thank you, Councilor Brooks. There is a motion on the floor to appoint Councilor Sharon Council Harris to Yaden Borough Council as vice president. I will start, Madam President. You can ask for the voice vote. Voice vote.
May we have a voice vote, please?
So moved.
No, the voice vote is you saying, who would you like to be? You, like, Council Harris, what is your pleasure?
Yes.
To her.
Thank you.
What is your pleasure? Yes.
And then, Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Brooks,
Yes.
and Council.
Yes.
Listen. Oh, Brooks, you're here. Waters, thank you.
Yes.
The motion carries 4-0. 4-0, Council Harris, you have been appointed Vice President of Yaden Borough Council.
I'm still the
Madam
president.
President, you don't mind
Let's see
assist you.
It's a power thing for them. It's a power thing for them.
Madam President,
Absolutely.
if it's your pleasure,
We knew that they were,
we
we
will,
knew what they were.
do you want to move forward with the agenda?
Yes, I said,
Thank
let's see
you.
if it's about power. Find this vice president, to step up. Okay, let's see if it's about power or about Sharon
We have a
Council
quorum.
Harris, president. Okay, let's see.
Consideration of terminating employee with payroll number ending in 0226. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Give me 1 second, please, Madam President. The motion is consideration to terminating employee with payroll number ending in 0226.
Yes.
And who made the motion, please? Vice President Harris. And who seconded, please? And President?
No, I think Julia.
Okay. And Madam President, would you like to ask for a voice
That was
vote?
her last.
Okay, Brooks, I'm sorry.
Brooks?
Yeah, I did.
Council President, would you like to ask for a voice vote, please?
May I have a voice vote, please?
Council Harris
Yes.
and Councilor Johnson?
Yes.
Now President Johnson.
Yes.
Council Waters?
No.
9A. No.
Brooks, yes.
Excuse me, 3-1, excuse me. 3-1, the motion passes. Madam President, we are now on 9B.
Thank you. Consideration to adopt ordinance number 2023-1401 to add 2 permanent stop signs at the intersection of Parkview Boulevard and North Longacre Boulevard.
Madam President, the
Yes, ma'am.
borough manager and myself and the chief had spoke about this. We would like to table this. The chief is still finishing up one of the reports.
Motion to table.
So moved.
Second.
Vote, please. Councilor Harris
Yes.
and Councilor President Johnson
Yes.
and Councilor Waters
Yes.
and Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries. We are now, Madam President, on consideration to approve the update collective bargaining agreement between the Borough of Yaden and our Public Works Union, SEIUL 32BJ.
May I have a motion?
So moved. Madam President.
May I have a second? May I have a second?
Second.
Councilor Brooks, we had already approved this collective bargaining agreement. There was a mistake by like $2. in somebody's wages, which ends up being a couple $100 a year, but that was a mistake that we wanted to correct, and that's what this represents.
There is a motion on the floor. The motion is made by whom? Thank you, ma'am. And who seconded, please? Thank you, sir. And the voice vote is Vice President Harris. What is your pleasure?
Yes.
And President Johnson, what is your
Yes.
pleasure? Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
And Councilor
Yes.
Waters, I don't know how I keep this unanimous for our purposes here. The motion carries. Excuse me, 7623.
You okay?
No, but I'll continue. Madam President, consideration to adjust lot lines, two lots totaling 0.504 acres at 101A Lincoln Avenue.
May I have
So this was approved by the Planning Commission in like 2021, and their lawyer was having problems getting this finalized. I guess something happened in the transition of the last administration, so he reached out to us and we checked everything, and the Planning Commission has gone over all of this. It just needs council's approval to split a half an acre.
So for one property?
Yep, and they already went through the Planning Commission a couple years ago. It just kind of got lost in the works.
So when does the other hand go to?
Oh, these are two people that live together or live side by side, and this was an agreement that they came to. They went through the Planning Commission, and this is the only thing that's.
They just want to split it in here. Okay.
So, the motion is made by whom?
I make the motion.
Thank you, Council, Vice President.
Second.
And, who seconded? You seconded?
Council.
Same, I didn't hear you, Council. Councilor, Vice President Harris, is your pleasure?
Yes.
And, President Johnson?
Yes.
And, Waters?
Yes.
Councilor, my apologies. And, Councilor Brooks?
She said yes, didn't she?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Harris?
May we have the solicitor's report?
Yes. So I'm gonna try to make this a lot easier. So let's vote on A, B, C, and D together. This is something that's been in the works for quite some time. Mr. Nichols brought this to council's attention probably last year when we moved on from Portnoy. We voted to move on from Portnoy collecting our fees. So eCollect, we engaged with them. You all had approved that we should have that company, but now we have to update our ordinances, update the fee schedule, and give them the authority to collect these fees for us that haven't been being collected since it's been like March or April because we haven't had a meeting. So A, B, C, and D, if it's your pleasure, I believe can all be done at once. It's authorizing eCollect to do what they need to do to collect our fees.
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
President Harris, who seconded it? Thank you, Councilor Brooks. The motion is on the floor is item number 10, solicitor's report. We would like to put them together as A, B, C, D, and E.
Just A, B, C, and D, yep. I'll get to E.
A through D. My apologies, let me take it off. A through D. Are we asking for the motion from A through D?
Yes, sir, thank you.
So moved.
Vice President Harris?
Councilor John Waters moved, and I say. I'll say.
I had that.
Oh.
Waters. I had Councilor Harris making the motion and Councilor Waters seconding.
That's fine.
Are there any questions? Hearing none. Vice President Harris.
Yes.
And, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, it's all right. It's okay.
Johnson.
Yes.
Council President Johnson.
Yes.
Councilor Waters.
Yes.
And Councilor.
Yes.
The motion carries to approve item number 10, A, B, C, and D.
Thank you.
I'll take over this one. Thank you. Consideration
Last-
of approving.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep, I got one more, and then you can move on. So E is the consideration of approving an amendment to our civil service standards just to reflect what they are at the county level, which is, there are Cooper standards. We, at the county level, apply 30% of them. It doesn't matter what that number actually talks about amount of sit-ups, amount of timing for the mile and a half. But this is what is in line with the county, and that's what our police chief would like our civil service to be in line with. I find that to be eminently reasonable, that, you know, if we're hiring people in the county, we should have the same standards.
May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Any questions?
No, the question people are gone.
May we have a vote?
Councilman Harris?
Yes. Yes.
President Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-2. All citizens report.
I just want to make sure I get through everything. Is there anything else in here?
I just want to say, let's look at the vote.
I think that's all. Public Works. Okay, yeah, we're going down to D, Public Works. Consideration of approving the removal of pruning of over mature trees around the borough.
So moved.
Any questions?
And that was Councilman Brooks, who second.
Yes.
And my vote for Doris Oak, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
and President Johnson,
Yes.
and Councilman Waters,
Yes.
and Councilman Brooks.
Yes.
The motion carries 4.
Thank you. At this time, are there any citizens who would like to come and speak? Yes.
Testing. I'd just like to say that this Yaden Borough has been through so much. And I know you all have private lives. You have other things to do. And I think as a community, we don't show you guys how much we appreciate the trauma, the attacks, and the disrespect that you all have to endure. And I just personally want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And even though I know that this situation right here may be temporal, I just want to commend you for all of the pain that you've gone through. And that I just hope that within the next few months, that you guys stick together, take care of the business of the borough. What you all did just in a few minutes, without any grandstanding, attacking, and putting anybody down. It's hard on us as a community when we see that. It's very embarrassing. And I just wish that what just took place in the last few minutes could continue. So again, before I sit down, I just want to say I appreciate you, all of you that are sitting up there. The treasurer, the borough manager, the solicitor, and you counselors. Thank you.
Pam.
How are you? My question was about the Planning Commission, because I noticed on the borough website that they were asking for volunteers, residents volunteers. And according to what's on the website, it says to be involved with community economic development. So my question is, my background, 40 years, is in that. And what I do everywhere else, I would so love to do here in my own community. But my question is there a mission, a vision for this planning commission? Because I haven't seen it active in quite some time.
It hasn't been, and I think if you speak with the borough manager, he would be able to explain that in further detail to you.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to, I agree, trauma is trauma. And I'm personally embarrassed by behaviors that take place here and is seen outside. And as I said to you, I'm someone who is in this line of work, so I'm going to Harrisburg and I'm going to Washington. And I've been asked questions when they find out, oh, you're from Yaden. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I would like to say to you, Councilwoman Brooks, I understand being frustrated, but the language that was used here tonight was unacceptable. I don't address whether I agree or disagree with you. I would never use that kind of language to any of you, even in a disagreement. So I will not accept that from you.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Wholeheartedly. I apologize. To all
Any
you
other
guys.
questions?
I sincerely apologize.
You have to do minutes, right? You have to do minutes? Isn't that what you said?
Good evening, good night, whatever. My first concern was public safety. I filled out a paper that said public safety, and I wasn't called, but I don't get loud. I just take it. So I let that go.
Oversight?
No, it wasn't oversight. I heard her say that wasn't specific. I heard her. My second concern is, I was talking to a neighbor in terms of that $1,500 grant. There are certain companies that won't deal with certain houses because they have asbestos shingles. And this particular person had called to get windows done, and they can't get them done because it's asbestos around the windows. So I was wondering, somewhere down the line, to really help the residents who have that kind of issue, maybe someone could research a grant or something like that that would help those individuals that have asbestos still in their houses, because as you know, that does cause cancer. And it's very difficult for people to get contractors for these facades. As soon as they see asbestos on the house, they don't want to do it. And roofs, anything that's in contact with the roofing, the windows or whatever. So it would be helpful to the residents. That's something that could save someone's life, if someone would look into a grant for that. So that is a concern of mine. And I didn't get to address that.
Thank you very much. That's good to know. At this time, we're going to go back and vote on the minutes. Motion to approve January 19, 2023 legislative meeting, February 16, 2023 legislative meeting, March 30, 2023 special meeting, April 20, 2023 legislative meeting, and May 1, 2023 special meeting.
So moved.
If you'll give me a minute, I run out of my motion sheets, so I have to make a.
So moved. So moved. We gotta go.
Thank you. Here's an excuse. I didn't motion to accept the minutes for that set time. I'll show you that. And motion was made by whom?
I was reporting to you for Jones Woodard, support second.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And, Madam President, are you prepared for this voice vote?
Yes, please.
Councilor Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Brooks,
Yes.
and Councilor Wood.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The motion carries.
Mr. Secretary, could you please ensure that all of these minutes are put on the website immediately, if not sooner? Thank you very much. May I have a motion to adjourn? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yes, I did have a small report, former president report now. I received a call from Channel 6 News 2 weeks ago at like 6:30 in the morning. Come to find out, Councilor Monroe, Councilor Roadcloud, the Liz woman that's my two-door over neighbor, had asked for my financial reports, ethics reports that are due every year that you run for office. You have to supply those. So they had requested right to know and filed this bogus complaint about me embezzling money, hiring people, getting kickbacks, et cetera, et cetera. Unfounded. So I called my son, and my son said to me, you have been, because you've been in the church all your life, 50 years, you've been a minister for 20 years, all you want to do is help folks. There are folks that are not like you, and you're not a fighter. So I raised 12 children. I think I am somewhat of a fighter. I just rather take the high road rather than the low road. For 18 months, I have been insulted. My name has been dragged in the mud in this community that I have lived in for 37 years. I haven't done anything to anybody intentionally to cause them any harm. But this ridiculous category of folk who think that if they can denounce you and demean your name, that they somehow gain some advantage. I didn't take the call from the Channel 6 reporter, but my son said to me, if he calls you again, or you have an opportunity to call him, you want to tell them it's lies, lies, and more lies. And that it's all retaliation because you did not keep their friend, the former chief of police, on duty. And I said to him, the reason that we did not keep the former chief, no matter what lawsuits and allegations are presented against this town, is because he cost this town, under the administration of Mr. Hepkins, Mayor Hepkins, and under the administration of Ms. Monroe, $387,000 in 1 year, and then over budget, $162,000 in the same year, 2021, before I was ever sworn in. It was retaliation. Retaliation. And that's what I've been the victim of. Has caused me enormous stress and health-related issues as a result of this. And you saw the demonstration tonight of how this aberrant behavior should not be tolerated in this town. What Mrs. Trueheart mentioned, anywhere you go outside of Yaden and people ask you where do you live, and they go online and pull up Yaden, or they go online and pull my name up, I'm trying to defend a town that we asked to have audited so that we wouldn't make any mistakes. We paid $5,000 after we were sworn in 2022, this group of us, outside of Miss Beatty. We ordered and we had the audit done so that we wouldn't make any mistake. And they confirmed those losses. And the former chief of police said he spent that money because of George Floyd, and George Floyd had not even died when he spent that money and caused those overages. So I say that to say this. I taught my son and my children, all of them, truth pressed and pounded to the ground will rise again. So my life, I am very delighted tonight, and I feel an enormous amount of pressure lifted off of me that Councilor Loren Johnson is our new president. And I will stand by her 1,000% to help her be the best president she can be.
Thank you. And I'd like to say, everyone, as your new president, I will do my very best to give you all of my best. You can believe in that. Thank you.
I have one, wait a minute. I have one announcement, Mr. Nichols, I have one announcement. The Community Day will go on. It's going to be September 16th. We do have money in the budget for that. Mr. Nichols? It should be $5,000. Yeah. Yeah, but it should be there in that recreation.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.